What?
Hello, welcome to F-Art. We're talking about voluptuous mousepads.
Hey, we're here. Hey, what's up? Welcome to F-Art. My microphone is really close to me now. Do I sound very central to you?
You sound crackly. And gross.
Oh, hold on, wait. I should start streaming on Twitch as well. I forgot that I do that. Well, shut up. I was sorting through my references.
Yeah,
I'm
you
busy
did
doing
before
stuff.
stream. Yeah, that's...
This is what I wanted to do last night, and then my family started to flip out, so I didn't have the time to. We could talk about that
Hi,
as one of our
Bilsu.
many topics today. What? Oh, Bilsu's already here. Bilsu, no, I'm so embarrassed.
Bilsu, no. Look, Bilsu, this is my latest commission. It's a buff goose with a pickle head. So I think this head is gonna go, and it's gonna become a pickle.
Oh Christ! Oh, here we go with the F art with the drama. Okay, Philsu, I'm pulling up the chat so that we can be best friends again. Also, how are you here so early, my friend? All right, fine.
Magic.
I'll stop my reference sorting and I'll start making art because it has entertainment value. Do you want to introduce the topics we're going to talk about today?
Oh yeah, this gremlin likes trolling to such an extent that he put in all this effort to make this really
But
highly
it's
detailed armor.
It's not the topic.
Oh, it's not?
The whole thing you were saying about chasing the dragon.
Oh,
You
right.
remember the thing you were super excited about? You're like, I can't wait to talk about this with you.
Like, I was
was like,
looking at the stream and all I can see is you're trolling Goblin Slayer. And I had to comment on it.
My goblin nature is of no relevance here.
Oh, Bilsu says, I never left. This is how I always am. I am always.
This is always in the chat.
The real one.
Thanks, Bilsu. You the real G. You the real motherfucker.
Yeah.
You the real drug lord here. Get him. FBI.
Please, that one.
It's him. Kill him. Right. Martian Tire wanted to talk about chasing the dragon today.
Yeah.
Now, what is chasing the dragon? Wait, you gotta do this slowly for all the retards listening. Not that there's any retards listening right now. Look, wait, oh, hold on, I'm not even streaming myself yet. Wait, hold your tongue, wench.
Sure. So this is the Goblin Slayer Fairy Knight. Upon his noble steed made of wood.
I'm starting up my own stream.
Yeah.
Because I'm allowed to do that because why isn't it loading? Because there's a technicality where
you're using slops, that's why.
No, shut up. The point is that look, we don't have to out me right now. I'm just going into the how I'm slithering my way through this, you know?
Yeah.
Which is that wait, say something so I can test your audio.
Hello. How are you?
Are you speaking? Because I can't hear you anymore.
Really?
Oh, okay, great. Now I can't hear you. Well, what the hell happened?
What have you done?
What the slob's doing? Okay.
I just like how your side of the fucking screen is just hoarse.
You can keep talking because I can't hear you. I'm also gonna cut in with what you're saying a lot because I can't hear you.
Horse. Lol. Yeah, a buff goose would be a nightmare. They're mean. I was just sitting in a park, and one waddled up to me and just attacked my shoe for no reason. No reason.
That's really funny. I would attack your shoe too. Okay, I'm testing it. Every time when I turn on slobs, it cuts off your audio for some reason. Which is kind of weird. I can't hear it anymore. Is this the kind of stuff you always deal with?
No, it's
you little monkey child.
Like Slobs has a bunch of random problems that have like no explanation.
In the thing.
Yep. Is it working yet?
Hello?
Echo?
No. Yes? No.
No?
What the fuck? Oh.
Are you doing a learnings?
Oh.
Don't worry, the buff goose and I can hold down the fort while you do whatever it is you're doing. Guess I'm doing gigantic web feet, and also this human shaped leg is gonna be ribbed like a duck or goose. I don't. It's a goose, I guess. Keep thinking duck. That's a goose. Yep. This is what all my studying has got me to. This is where all my anatomical knowledge is going. Yep.
Okay, well, I'm back. That none of this is working. I think it's pretty sure because I'm pretty sure it's because I'm using wireless headphones instead of plugging in my earphones because I don't have them with me. And also in my attempts to fix it, I broke it even more. So now I'm gonna have to fix it later.
Oh.
So that's so fun. I love it. Borscht. I'm enjoying being a content creator. Do you enjoy it?
There's a bunch of like weird technical nonsense that happens in creation, like whether you lose your writing utensil or the program you're using to compile stuff isn't compiling no more. It's irritating. Hex Quest to get everything working is the next Netflix hit series.
Thanks, Pilsu. I love how much you care and support me. Unlike Martian Tire over here, who neither cares nor supports me. In fact, she does the opposite of support, which is a prostate exam.
Yeah, I'm gonna get McGuire to cast as you in the Netflix adaptation. You're gonna be Bully McGuire in person.
Bully McGuire. Oh boy! All right, what were we talking about? Did you introduce our topics like I asked you to?
Yeah, it's how horse is the main topic. We've established horse, our Lord and Savior.
Okay. Now fucking start talking about our main topic. Stop fucking around. God damn it, we're professionals here. You waste of space.
Well,
what is chasing the dragon?
While it could apply to a bunch of different stuff, I think chasing the dragon applies a lot to the beginning parts of artists, where they're like, "Oh, I love the idea of drawing. I'm gonna draw something I like. Oh my god, it's the best thing ever!" And then that kind of enjoyment and aspiration causes them to stick with learning art until, it gets painful.
Do you know where the term originates from? Because I can tell you if you want.
You are the one who brought it up to me. I know that it's constantly, like the high of something is constantly compared to influences.
What it is in reality is just drugs, right? Mm-hmm. So chasing the high refers to like people who take something like not something like weed, because weed is like so fucking mild, It's more so like in reference to like cocaine or something. You know what I mean?
You're so educated on the matter.
It's people who take cocaine or something for the first time and they get addicted. The reason they get addicted is because the first time you get high is always going to be the best time. So nothing is going to beat the first time you got high because it's so new and your body doesn't know the drug at all, and you kind of go like, and have like the strongest reaction. At least like subjectively in your head, you have the strongest reaction to it, And what ends up happening is that because that first high is so great, people who get addicted, they spend the rest of their lives or the rest of the time being addicted, chasing that high. And that's why people get like more and more drugs and more fucking like stuff like that, because they're chasing the dragon, they're like chasing the first high they ever had, which is chasing the dragon,
You know why it's called dragon? Is there a reason?
Do I know it's the only reason I can think of is that it's like it refers to like, dragons are cool.
Is that it? Like, is that all it goes down to? Dragons are cool. We're going to chase one.
If to guess, it's like an elusive thing. Dragons aren't real. You'll never catch it. Is the implication, right? It's like you can chase the dragon, but you'll never get there. It'll never be real. You'll never catch it. That's kind of what it is. Like this elusive thing that is only in your fantasy.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I interpret it, because otherwise I don't see a reason to call it dragon, unless the guy who came up with it just really liked dragons. Maybe it's a Chinese thing. Oh, they're chasing the dragon. Cut to a bunch of blackout fucking drunk people just wasted. Yeah, it's such a cool and romantic term for idiots being stupid,
Oh, right. It makes it sound a lot more epic than it really is. Wait up, dragons aren't real? That's a bummer, says the Bill.
Exactly.
Oh man.
To shatter your reality. But yeah, that's exactly what it is, It's just a bunch of freaking people who they should call it pathetic dum-dum disease, and then people would probably be less inclined to romanticize it, It's like hurricanes. Instead of calling it Hurricane Katrina, call it a hurricane, you're gonna fucking die. People are gonna take it more seriously, A hurricane, your divorce is about to be finalized. And maybe people
Hurricane, this is what it's
stop,
like when your dad goes to the corner store to buy milk.
Hurricane dementia is no joke, and it's rapidly increasing in our elders. Yeah, see, I would take it more seriously. But yeah, see.
Yeah.
People.
This is definitely me taking it more seriously.
But you can co-opt the term for art, which is what we're doing, So what is chasing the dragon for you, my dear friend?
I think you should go first, because I think you're closer to that than I am. In the more traditional sense. Yes.
Well, now. I wouldn't say that I'm closer to drugs per se. Maybe in general vicinity, but I don't think emotionally.
See, we're only getting to know each other. We haven't gotten to that stage yet. It's very bold of you to assume we've gotten that far. We like to take it slow.
Let's see.
No, I have to live up to reality and eat vegetables. Thanks for ruining my fantasy, Heck. You destroyed someone's dreams today. How does that make you feel?
Vilsu, vegetables are delicious, though. Just on a side note, people who don't like vegetables, I feel like they I also like your shoulders right now that you're drawing. They're very geometric. It tickles my pickle.
Ironic, because this is a pickle. This is a pickle. How funny is that?
Oh, perfect. Yeah. All right, look. What was I gonna say? Vegetables are delicious. People just don't cook them right. They're like, I put vegetable in water boil, vegetable cook, I eat. It's like, motherfucker, if you don't season your food, if you do that with a piece of meat, it's gonna taste like crap too. Just pan fry them or bake them or squirt a little lemon juice on them, make them delicious. Like, what the hell? People, it's like parents don't know how to cook. Boomers don't know how to cook. That's not an opinion. That's just a fact, and that's why so many people hate vegetables. Anyways, rant over. Chasing the dragon. What was I gonna say? I don't think I have as much experience with that anymore.
You have
because
one, which is very iconic.
Which one?
Oh my god.
Oh,
okay.
You mean in terms of the reference?
The very first thing you drew.
Right. The very first thing I drew.
Yeah, because the only reason why I was gonna let you go first was because when I started drawing, I didn't romanticize my first drawings. Like right. I never thought them as good nor bad. They were just kind of satisfying. And my dragon came in a very different form. But you were, when you decided, in a very phallic form, a very firm phallic form.
Very, very pink with a somewhat reddish tip.
Yeah, but you had this story where the first thing you drew You were like, I want to draw, I want to make comics, and then you did. You went and drew something, and
Right.
you spent a long time on it because it was your first drawing. And I don't know if it was digital. I think it might have been digital. But you were so proud of it that you just made this thing, and you were so confident that you were like,
Yeah.
oh man, and that was like. The person I know is the heck that draws something and is like, am I having fun yet? What's supposed to happen? Am I supposed to feel
What's
something?
yeah, we're supposed to be enjoying this.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
But in the background, you had one experience, your first drawing, where it was
Right,
satisfying and
okay.
fun.
I'll talk about that because
Uh-huh.
I don't really have it like in memory that much. I guess I stopped chasing the dragon in that way because I've just kind of accepted. Oh, it sucks. you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, I get what you mean. What it was that I told the story partially before that I got like my dad's art tablet. Like he had an art tablet just simply because he thought he could use it to like design something using a different program, like a 3D modeling program. And then I guess he bought it and then he realized, oh, I don't need it at all. So it was just kind of rusting in his closet. And the day I went down to like ask him if I could buy one, he's like, yeah, I have one. And it
Ta-da.
felt like the universe had aligned. I was like, whoa, because I was full on expecting like to wait like weeks or like stuff like that for like to pick one and then order one and then maybe to rise. But no, it was just there sitting in the closet the entire time, waiting
Mhm.
for it's like Excalibur, it's like
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been waiting for you, child. you know, seize your destiny.
I see farts in your future.
I see. I see. Yeah, the sword, the tablet is freaking snickering. It's like, ha, this idiot. He has no idea how much this is gonna suck in a few months. But yeah, I got it, and it was like it was like the feeling. I don't think I would have felt this great if I hadn't gotten it like right when I was excited to get it. So I was
Yeah.
running off of that high, like being excited to start like my digital art journey, and then immediately being able to, and I was like, whoa, and
Mhm.
then it became this like mixed experience where I was just like um making like art like for hours and hours, and I remember it felt like it was like playing with a brand new toy, that doesn't turn out to be a horrible disappointing mess. And I was just like drawing, and then I remembered looking at the clock and thinking that time was just like flying by super fast, and I was like, this is crazy, whoa. And for a long time that was the most fun I had with art. Just in general, like all my other experiences with art are so like and this isn't good enough, this isn't good enough, because at some point I stopped having like that high wore off, and I think that's when I could kind of see the technical limitations that I had. I
Mm.
mean, if you want, I still have the exact piece that I made um on that night. It's just like all that stuff is still in my on my laptop in my folders, because I just saved them. Because one
Mhm.
day I want to be able to like sell it in a book and be like, look at all the art I did, and then just do like a page by page run through of every art piece I made, or like every important one, and sell it for $1 million or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it took me forever to make like really shitty art in essence, right?
Mhm.
But it was fun, and I guess that's also where a lot of my frustration came in later, because nothing I did was as fun as the first time.
Yeah.
And instead of like chasing the dragon and feeling high and being like, oh, well, actually, I guess it's exactly like drugs, right? It's
Mm.
exactly what like somebody who's addicted to cocaine would feel. It's like you can get close to it, but you can never get the thing that you want anymore. And I never really got close to it. I just mellowed out into like a gentle satisfaction with what I'm doing, instead of like the high of like, oh, this is the best thing ever, because that's not a realistic representation of what art is either. You know, that's the realistic version of like art happiness, or happiness in general, is just being content with what you're doing and feeling satisfied.
Mhm.
That's a common misconception, that like happiness has to be this like crazy like mind breaking, like constant state of euphoria. You know what I mean, bitch.
Yeah. Happiness is like almost a state of mind, if not momentary. And
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
the where I noticed a dragon was like perfect collaboration, where
Right.
whatever creative project it may be it like art or whatnot. It's so much easier when you're younger because you don't notice. You don't notice anything wrong. Like it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be partners in crime and do lots of cool projects and stuff. And then
It's
you
just
don't
such
notice that,
big
I don't
thing
know, maybe
is
you're partnering with a kleptomaniac. You
with
know,
a yeah,
you have no
with a
idea.
hobo with a streak of aggression.
Yeah, you got no idea. And then as you get older, you're like, oh wow, I really just don't like people.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how it almost always starts out with naivety, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you just don't know any better. So you can't recognize when it becomes something that is unhealthy rather than something that is fun, you know? Something that is actually like a reflection of what a reality is, you know?
Yeah.
Also, can you hear an echo when I speak?
I'm not a audiophile, so I can't tell if there's one.
Right. Well, then it doesn't matter. I could hear like a slight echo just in my room because I just moved in. So,
Huh.
like, freaking, there's no furniture up. There's nothing like sound dampening up anywhere. You know, it's just like pure, unadulterated, like, wall. So
Wow.
everything is bouncing off. It was that way as well in my old room because that was like a temporary place. So I didn't want to put anything up.
Oopsie.
But since this is like this is my parents' place. I'm not fucking wealthy enough to buy a place, right? But
Yeah.
my parents sold their old house and bought a new one that is smaller, you know, so they can kind of chill for a little bit more. And obviously, they gave me one of the rooms. And while they were looking for the smaller house, they were living in like a temporary apartment because the old house was it's pretty nasty, a ratty place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they just took out a loan and got this place. And now I can actually put up sound padding, so I might order some on Amazon right after
Oh.
this because I actually forgot to order it. So I can stick it like to the wall behind me and like maybe the wall in front of me. I'll see where I have to put it and then create this little like booth area so I can actually record without all this stupid bouncy bounce.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt you and your dumb rant about stupid useless stuff. Yeah, go on. Your experience was more so like peer to peer,
Yeah,
right?
but that kind of connected to art because I didn't need to create healthy habits for learning or making art when all the motivation was in like the accountability that happens when you're doing stuff with people. And then
Like when you work
also
out with another person.
yeah, and also the like even when they're not there, there's the dream of paradise basically, because that's what it's
Like
built
the
up.
drop of a dragon that you can eventually catch.
Yeah. Just the idea of, well, if we're apart, when we work really hard, we're gonna make something that's gonna be even better. And so
Yeah.
it fed
We're
into my
it's
creative
One Piece
process.
dream. The like we're gonna conquer the world, you know, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, you know,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
stuff like that. And
And when did it end for you?
it ended when you realize that the people who want stuff like that are very unhealthy. And it kind of
Yeah.
goes into like even stuff I read in Pun Pun. Good Night Pun Pun, which is a
Yeah.
very graphic manga.
Yeah.
There's a line that's like when people just want one person in the world to understand them like completely, and then they realize they can't have that. If that's not possible, then what can anyone even believe in if not just
Yeah.
having that one connection? And that's what leaves people with like this sense of loneliness and desperation
Loneliness,
to
yeah.
fill in the void with whatever made up or extreme or unhealthy thing. Like that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happens to people.
That's a funny thought to me. It's like nobody in the world will ever truly understand you. Uh, I had feelings like that too in school. You know, Aragon, the book series.
Yeah. Yeah. I read the
Yes.
first
Yeah.
one.
Okay. Well, mild spoilers for the future, I guess, if you care about this stuff.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. I like one character
uh,
from the series that's inspired many thought processes, but yeah.
is it Brom?
No, it's the devil cat child who that was a baby that he blessed because he was too stupid to know the language
Oh,
correctly. And
that character is great. That character keeps popping up as well.
yeah, I love that
Brom is.
character.
I love Brom. Brom is perfect.
Well, who's wrong?
Brom, the guy
I don't
who
fucking
like in the
remember
first
Brom.
book, Aragon is like, oh shit, I have a dragon, I have to flee, and then this old storyteller pops up, and he's just some dude who visits the village from time to time, and he's like, my brother in Christ, you cannot raise a dragon by yourself. You have no idea what you're doing, so I'm gonna mysteriously teach you everything I know, and subtly imply that I have done this before as well, you know. And never explicitly say anything. And also, I'm your father, but you don't find that out until like 4 books later.
Okay.
And yep, see you. I'm gonna dramatically die in a few chapters. Don't worry about it. And the point is that like in Aragon, when a dragon bonds with like a human or an elf or something like that, or eventually like a dwarf or something, they share like one mind, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the way they describe it is like they have this like sort of telepathy, you know, where it's not just that they can understand and communicate, but it's like they know each other's emotions and frustrations and thoughts and dreams and imaginations, all of that stuff. And it just always fascinated me. That's what made me want to be a writer in the first place, before I even started anything to do with art, is this idea that so I guess it's funny because that I guess I have been chasing a different dragon for years before that, you know, because the idea of like being able to just not communicate with somebody verbally or not be misunderstood, and instead just like be able to like send them a perfect image of what's inside your brain so that they can just understand, you know, without needing to go through all the hoops and loops of like the person's subjective view, you know, your subjective view, and the way you describe things and the way they interpret things. There's so many ways. And like if you're just in a bad mood, you're going to hear things differently than when you're in a good mood, you know. So it's like there's tons and tons of layers to communication, and how people understand each other. But with Aragon, there was this pipe dream of like maybe one day, if I'm a good enough writer, I can put down how I feel, how I really feel, like in a book, and then somebody can read that, and it won't be perfect, you know, it won't be like beaming my thoughts, but it will be like an accurate reflection of who I am, what I want to do, you know, and all of that stuff. And then people can just see that and stop misunderstanding me. Which is a silly thought, you know, because that's not going to stop anybody from misunderstanding me. Because even if even if telepathy was real, they probably still have misunderstandings in real life, right?
That's actually what I think, because I have seen well, even Bill Sue, one dragon, one human sharing one brain cell.
One brain cell.
But yeah, no, this is Avatar, the with the blue people. They have something like this too.
Oh, the blue people.
And then
They
also
have their tails. Fucking like they touch tail tips or something. It's like, what? That was so weird.
Also,
who made that movie? James Cameron. What's wrong with you? Stop it, you perv.
Like it's no
furry.
worse than just some Dojin, you know.
Of course it isn't, but I can kink shame because in here I am God.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, go on.
Oh, and I think even
I hope James Cameron makes that.
Golden Compass has a form of that, in the form of you being able to talk to your soul, basically, in an animal form. Yeah, the animal speaks English, apparently.
The animals speak English.
And
how mighty convenient.
what I find funny with all that is like we can't even understand ourselves. Like, if we can't even understand ourselves and everything our own brain shits out, how's anyone else gonna even understand it? It takes so much introspection and like self-observation to even dissect, oh, I don't actually care about this. I'm just upset. Like, it takes so much effort.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone else is gonna. I don't even understand. No one's gonna understand.
Yeah, it's really funny that you bring that up because it's true, right? Like humans can't even communicate with themselves. How do you expect to communicate with others? You know, it's like you can't even understand what you're saying to yourself. You're acting angry, but in reality, you're just sad, and you're pushing that down, and you don't even realize you're pushing that down. You know, and it's stuff like that, like constantly that makes it so funny. You know, it's like I do it, you do it. It's not something that's bad or like a criticism. It's just how humans are. It's the nature. So everybody just has to lower their expectations, I guess.
Yeah, and then it
You know?
raises the question, like, what is enough to be satisfied? Oh, like, what? Since we now have dissected all of the dragons being like different ways of being unhealthy,
Yeah.
where does the satisfaction come in?
I think it's the same with like art or anything else. You have to be the one to let go of these notions, you know, and be the one to who can say like, okay, I know this is unhealthy, so I'm gonna stop having these unrealistic expectations. Because when you manage your expectations and you say, okay, I am never going to get this level of communication that I think I want, you know, then you start becoming more satisfied with what you have in real life. And it's not like you're settling for something, because that's a different feeling. Because when you settle, there's that little feeling of bitterness, like this is not really what I want, but I'll take it, you know. It's more so that because when you settle like that, you still have your expectations, you know, like they're not gone. But what you have to do is you just have to drop those expectations and say, this is not going to happen, and that's fine, you know, because what I have is already great. I guess it's like having to get a reality check, you know. You have to maybe go out into the world and see how shit other people's relationships are, and then realize, oh, this is not that bad. I'm fine with what I have with my friend or my family or my uh whatever, you
Mistress.
know. Yeah, my mistress, you know, this is fine. I don't need the unrealistic, like we understand each other perfectly, you know. And that's obviously only necessary if what you have is actually an unhealthy expectation, and not like my parents beat me every day, maybe this is good, you know. That's something else. That's something where
That's
you
called
can feel,
Stockholm.
yeah,
Help, get help.
in that case,
Run,
feel
run,
free
run.
to expect something more, you know, and want something more, and then maybe realize that you can't get it, but then instead just leave, you know. I guess in that case you also have to realize that you are expecting something from like if you're with an abuser, it's like you can't expect them to change, you know, unless they actually want to change. And you got to recognize that they are abusing you, you know, and then leave, you know,
I think a
which is
lot
also,
of
I guess,
sometimes
yeah.
this is kind of a weird topic, but like there's a lot of times when people get stuck with those situations. Even though there's a lot of fault on that side, there's also the idea that like the need to change people or save someone is almost a selfish one
Yeah,
when it gets obsessive to a
it is,
point.
yeah. It is a selfish one, like even from a psychological standpoint, because like in the psychological theory that I like to adhere to is that you how do you say, you care about yourself only, and that's it, you know. You have to be able to draw that boundary like very tightly, and it seems like it would damage your relationships, but in reality it only strengthens them, you know. Because if you're able to say like, I'm me, I do my own thing, and I don't like that's like, obviously you can take it too far, as with all things, you know. But you got to be able to say like, not be pushed around, you know. It's like if somebody's like, oh hey, do this and this chore for me, do this and this commission for free, you know. It's like you got to be able to say, no, I'm drawing my line here, you know. I'm not gonna fucking do that. And you do that like with everything, you know. I forgot why I started talking about this. You got to remind me. I have to take a dump. I can feel it coming.
Oh, it's
That really distracted me.
this was
I was
like
oh,
figuring
about
out
psychology. I
like
have to take so,
what happens after the dragon. Like, how do you find contentment after a dragon? And then we got
oh,
sidetracked
right.
on like fucking.
Right. Okay, carry the conversation. I'm gonna go take a dump.
Okay. Horse. We have to fucking zoom in on the horse. Oh my god. Oh. I don't know if I got to finish the statement, but yeah, this is an avatar for hero vibes. the someone from that side. And he wanted a really buff goose. With a pickle head. Very specifically pickle head. So yeah, very very specific. Potentially difficult depending on how specific the anatomy is. But hopefully this is good. I mean, how specific would a buff pickle goose? See, I don't know how to make it look like a goose except for ribbing the entire leg structure to look like you know, duck's feetsies. But yeah, I guess it's I have to figure out. It's really, I'm really obsessed with the whole dragon contentment stuff, especially because I keep reading about it in random manga that I pick up. And I think what a lot of things go to in the end is the alternative may not be what one wants, but it's better than none at all. It's a really funny anticlimactic kind of resolution to that whole thing. Is that like, it's not what you want, but it's still better for you. Because I don't know how people are supposed to get over dragons and stuff. Because we'll find it in a bunch of random things. Dragons come from a ton of different stuff. Our expectations just go out of control, and perhaps we don't notice because they spawn young. And I think I was very lucky because my dragon disappeared with time, basically. I can't say what particular instance got me out of it, but one day I just woke up and felt nothing at all. Like no craving, no aching, no loneliness. It was just blissful. It was so blissful. It's so fascinating because, you know, that's not what's supposed to happen. It was almost like the scene from Black Rock Shooter where the imaginary or metaphorical girls are fighting in an alternate dimension, and they win a battle without you knowing about it, and all of a sudden it creates instantaneous change to real life. That's kind of the crazy thing it felt like. Because it was just so instantaneous and so out of the blue. I didn't go to sleep thinking that I was gonna be better the next day. And not completely better, but just better enough where it's like, oh, okay. I don't need these things. Oh, that hand is way bigger than this hand. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, I should have timed him pooping. So we could shame him. Oh, he just sent me a DM. Oh god, I'm dying. That's nice. See, this is almost in true F-art fashion. Right? This is almost on brand. So on brand that it's highly unfortunate. Poops. Yeah. I really wonder what's going to happen when yes. What's up? Giggles? What's up, Giggles? Do you not like my drawing? Do you not like what I'm drawing? Jesus. Yeah, I really wonder what we're gonna do, because there's a lot of words we said. If this was technically a monetized video, it would have gotten demonetized already. Do I get another message? No. I'm gonna reply. Good. Damn keyboard that sends incomplete sentences. That's weird. He called me a sloot. What should I reply? Gosh, when I type on the phone, I always accidentally hit enter. And just tragedy. But yeah, it's so funny that all the things that I thought about are actually in Poon Poon. Good night, Poon Poon. Because one of the characters complains that, like, how can people continue moving on when we're just a bunch of egos bouncing around and hurting each other? And it's like, well, I mean, true. That's what I thought the day that I woke up and was like, oh, I feel better. Because then I was like, you know, I guess if it's just a bunch of egos bouncing around, and we'll never actually completely, the idea of complete 100% understanding is unrealistic and unhealthy, then you know, after that, it's peace. It's peaceful. Oh, but now the funny side effect is it makes one very wary of anyone who bears similarities to what one was. Anyone seeking like oh yeah, we should make a thing and company island private company, then it's like how much of this is a dragon, right? Because there's a level of that that's okay. It's perfectly fine to make projects and work on them with other people and chase big dreams, but then there's another to do it for a whole different kind of motivation. Yeah, it always goes back to, it's not what you do, it's how you do it, which is incredibly frustrating because all we have to really point at are examples, and the examples aren't the problem, it's the mentality. Now, how do people even figure anything out if that's the case? Yeah, how's your
Oh God, it's so bad. I feel like I must have eaten something terrible. I can't think of what though. The only thing I can think of is my parents bought they were like, let's experiment, and they bought like nasty ass like tortellini from like a supermarket. And I was eating it. I was like, these nasty.
It's probably preservatives and dairy, you know.
Oh God, yeah, it's probably something awful that is killing me as we speak. Anyways, sorry, you were talking about something, I'm assuming. You want to finish what you're saying?
Oh, I went into how my dragon resolved, which was the whole one day I woke up and I'm like, oh, it's over. You know, the body just gets tired.
Scum!
Body just gets tired. In the end, the way how people deal with things is what ends up creating dragons. Yeah, it is coping. You could mock it up to really bad coping.
Oh God. Oh God, Vilsu. Eat vegetables and don't do what I did.
Don't eat store-bought tortellini.
Don't eat tortellini that's just sitting out behind a counter with an Armenian guy selling it to you. Oh God. But yeah, It was not a pleasant experience for me.
You didn't like
The
it.
dragon's not the poop.
The dragon in your butt is a little too angry.
He was so angry. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that's interesting. I guess for me, I'm dealing with like 10 different dragons. That's the funny thing, right?
Are they big dragons though, or tinier dragons? Because of what you
I don't know. Because on one hand, it's like dragon so much relates to like desire. I relate to a lot of hate. You know?
Is that a hate dragon?
It's a hate dragon. It's so difficult for me to let go of certain like hatred, you know, like for humanity, for like the school that I went to, for like just like it's like when it's the standard, you know, you have an experience that scars you, and you can either let go or you can do this thing I'm doing, which is to just hold on bitterly until one day you're powerful enough to take revenge, you know.
Yeah.
And I healthy, but I'm trying to let go. But even when I do let go, or I seemingly let go, there's a tiny voice in the back of my head that's like, yes, we'll let go. We will forget, you know. But
Yes.
one day when we are rich and powerful, you know, that will be the day when we can strike, you know. No,
Oh, hello, Budgie.
it's hard not to desire that, you know. Hey, Budgie, you kinky hoe, what's up?
Oh my god. Bill Sue says, I can't say I won't be like you, heck, because I ate a hot dog for breakfast that was in the pan for the night. So yeah, I might die.
Oh, yes.
No.
We need your support. You are one viewer. Yeah. Do you want to move on to another topic? Or are you satisfied, or would you like to keep talking?
I guess we could talk about our wyverns and like migrate into what kind of creative goals we have currently.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
sure.
of your goals
if you
seems
like.
to be letting go of unnecessary stressors related to being angry.
Yeah, angry. Yeah.
Hi, Smash. Sour?
Spinach. Hi,
That must be
Smash.
sour. Or
Is it sour?
I don't know.
Maybe it's a new person. Whoever you are, go follow me on Twitch. I would be streaming to Twitch.
I can't imagine anyone else who would have come here except for Sour.
Well, maybe it's the YouTube algorithm. It's like, oh, well, I'll throw you a bone.
I recognize the name. It's just, I think it is Sour.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, look. You
Welcome.
like buff pickle goose?
My god, I feel bad. I want the buff pickle goose. I wish I came up with that. Whoever commissioned you is leagues beyond.
Gosh, I'll let them know.
No, don't let them know. What are you? I'm not gonna boost their ego. What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, it's better because they asked me. So I've been struggling so much with anatomy that I was asked like, "What do you think of the idea?" And I'm like, I'm speaking with a middleman here. I'm not even speaking with my commissioner, and I'm like, oh, but this is a really bad time to ask me a question that requires thought. And they start typing that out. Like, wait, no, do not.
Yeah. But look at this. I can cheat. I didn't pick the right colors, but I can just shift the hue, and bada bing, bada boom, the colors are right now.
Did you know that there's a hue layer too?
What's a hue layer?
It's a layer that actually changes the hue of something. It's very cool.
Or I can just hue shift and it does the same thing.
I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to get to the same spot.
Yeah.
I just noticed the horse ain't yellow. How dare you?
Notice the horse ain't yellow. Budgie, you're delirious. You don't know what you're talking about. The horse is yellow. You're blind. Look at it. That's yellow. Isn't that yellow, Mark? That's yellow. That's just
yellow if you have particularly specific kind of color blindness.
What are you talking about, Budgie? This is yellow. Look at it. It's always been yellow. It's a sickly yellow.
Yeah, it's
sick yellow.
that horse has seen some things. Is supposed to be made of straw. It doesn't look straw.
It doesn't look straw. I don't think I intended it to be that way. Oh, time for highlights.
Is this your
Oh
favorite
god,
part?
I hate highlights. No, I actually hate this part because I'm not sure how to do it. Like the cell shading is more intuitive nowadays with like just doing the multiply layer and matching the colors more easily. But like for lighting, I'm still like, I guess I don't like with stuff like this. I have a hard time seeing the 3D form, so I have a hard time putting down the highlights, and even beyond that, I just don't really know
I kind of have a cheat. There's
what to do with highlights. Yeah.
for technology, you put highlights around the rims, but for other things, like wherever the light hits the brightest, you can, if you're not doing just brighter equals surface, then you can just put like a little bit of highlight on the part where the light's gonna hit the strongest and leave the rest. Like you don't have to actually highlight every little thing unless you particularly enjoy it.
Yeah. I speaking of which, I also have a bad habit of zooming in too close, and then it kind of screws it up because I over detail at a very close level. But yeah, let's go back to our conversation
Somehow the mask
topics.
is giving me minor tryptophobia. Did you know tryptophobia is almost like something you can perpetuate? The horse is yellow, a bit of vomit yellow, but is yellow. It is yellowish pink is what y'all gotta tell
me. Yeah, it's slightly, it's yellow pink. You don't know this color, budgie?
Schmidl.
It's because you're not noticed. Don't worry about it. I got this. I got it covered. But yeah, what was our conversation topic? We were gonna talk about something super interesting.
Yeah, we were migrating from chasing the dragon to chasing like lizards or wyverns,
Right.
Yeah, because
there's something else though. There's something else that was tickling my pickle. My big fucking pickle. Huge pickle. Massive pickle. Just the best pickle in the whole world. It's in the fridge right now. But yeah, go on then. I told you about my wyverns. Why'd you tell me about your wyverns?
Yeah, besides fixing anatomy so people stop saying that I should redo a pose again. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a more obtainable one.
Right.
I guess I'm still willing to have creative partners. It's just more like now it's not so much about the collaboration as it is doing stuff that one can't do singularly.
Yeah.
Now it's an actual like
project.
Yeah, now
Is
it's
that what you mean to say?
A what?
Is that what you mean to say, that it's more about the projects now?
Yeah.
Than the person?
Yeah.
Or the feeling?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to look at it. Because I mean, collaborations exist for the sake of making something that you couldn't make by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason, or maybe you just don't have the time to do it yourself. I mean, tons and tons of comic artists, they it's their name on the front plus coloring done by this,
Yeah, tons of people.
So yeah, which is funny to think about because we in this like modern time, we're moving further and further away from teams working on comics. Like
because everyone can do it by themselves now.
Yeah. Like back in the day, you would have like the letterist, you would have the colorist, you would have the line artist, you would have the script writer, dialogue writer, the person who fucking like all that stuff, like you have them all together in one room. There's like 5 people working on like one comic or some crap, and now it's just like one nerd in his basement being like, I'll do it all myself, and that's it's nice, it gives that like independency almost. It's like you don't need all this, you can do everything by yourself, but obviously also takes way longer because you're doing everything by yourself.
Right. It takes longer, and also it's a lonely working alone, and also
Yeah.
there's less people to tell you that you suck.
Yeah, and it's important to get that feedback for sure.
And now you have to learn everything yourself.
Yeah.
You should do bird
Well, there's pros
anatomy.
and cons too.
Budgie. Look, they didn't ask for bird anatomy. They asked for a really buff goose with a pickle head. This is out of my hands. I'm getting paid to do this. This is completely out of my
I
hands.
have no control over this. Oh yeah. Fuck. There was definitely something else I wanted to talk about though, and I couldn't remember the poop. The poop. It did it to me.
Uh-huh.
It distracted me. God damn it. Why? Why must my life be filled with suffering?
Why must you poop?
Why must I poop?
Mm.
Oh gosh, I really can't for the life of me remember.
Well,
Oh wait,
you
no,
were about to take a giant shit, like metaphorically as well, because you were getting all wound up over hatred of humanity.
right. That's me. That's my bad habits. But I was gonna move to something positive. That's what I wanted to do. I
Oh.
wanted to say, hey, do you want to talk about something positive instead?
Oh.
And I was going to talk about Derek Landy. You know Derek Landy, the author for Skullduggery Pleasant. Nobody ever knows him, you know. But I read his books when I was in freaking my school, right?
Isn't that the signing you went to?
Yeah, exactly. I went to go see him in person. It was very fun because I got my book signed, and actually he took a lot of time with everybody to like freaking chat with everybody for like 2 minutes. Yeah, I think he was, and he did it all for free as well. Like, just bring your own books, you know, I'll sign them for you. Just stand in line. It was like one of the nicest experiences I've had so far with something like that, you know. It's just like super friendly, super chill. He was super happy when I started talking about comics. He's like, "Yay!" He's like, I told him my favorite comic was Bone, and he got real excited for that as well. You know, just a really friendly and cute guy. So that was really fun. And then the best part is that I know you don't read these books or know these movies, but Artemis Fowl is another Irish writer because this guy's
Oh no, I
Irish, right?
do. I've read all of
Artemis
them.
Fowl. Oh, right, yeah. Did you see the movie? I forgot that was
I don't
you. I
want
thought it
to
was
see
someone
the
else.
movie. No, I don't want to.
Because the movie sucks butthole,
Yeah.
right? The movie is wrong and it doesn't get anything right, and it just changes the plot completely for nothing but like contrived reasons, you know? And I felt that way, and I thought it sucked. And you know, the I would say the other most prominent like writer in the same genre in Ireland is this guy, is Derek Landy. So I walked up to Derek and I told him, do not, don't do what the other guy did. Don't do it. Don't sell your movie rights. Please, please don't do it. And then he told me he wouldn't. He said, "Sure, I won't." And I was like, that is the only worthwhile thing I got out of it. You know, I don't care about the book signing. I don't care about our friendly conversation. You know, that's all like fluff. That's all fun. But the fact that he can tell me that he's not going to fuck up this beloved like franchise by doing what Disney did to it, I'm like, you know, that gives me a sense of peace at night. Because how often can you say that you were directly in contact with the creator and then warned him not to do the thing?
At least it's probably the case that he already decided not to do it, and then this kid's like back of you, and he's like, "Oh, okay, just for you."
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm aware that like my voice probably doesn't have as much impact as I would wish, you know. Because if Disney walks up to him, it's like, we'll give you 10 billion. He's like, well, all right, fuck this, you know. Because I mean, who wouldn't say that? It's like this crazy amount of money, you know. Only if you're like super content with your life will you be able to like deny something like that. And even if you are, it's like 10 billion is worth more than like fucking anything like that. It's like, sure, they're gonna make a crap movie, but that doesn't mean that like your fantastic books aren't gonna exist anymore, right? So you have to like you gotta I wouldn't blame him if he sold out in a way, you know. Because hey, who doesn't want a shit ton of money? Because all you really have to do to earn that money is to say, okay, go ahead, you know. It's like you're getting paid for permission, you know. You don't have to do any work. You're getting paid to say okay.
You just have to
You know?
watch and shave. That's all.
Exactly. You just have to take it, you know. But if you just ignore it, if you're like, okay, I don't care, and then you just chill, you know, you can. Yeah.
I guess it would be the
It's
equivalent of someone,
money.
you know, walking, sending you a letter like, I am so inspired by your story and your characters. Can I write this fan fiction? And then you're just like, well, why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can just consider it non-canon yourself, you know, which it is because it's a retelling. A movie of a book is always a retelling of the story. So it's never going to take away um, the actual enjoyment of the movies, of the books, sorry. Which is, as long as you can realize that, you'll be free of any curse like that prevents you from having a shit ton of money. You know? Look at
The
J.K.
curses of
Rowling,
not
right?
accepting money. Just right on your doorstep.
J.K. Rowling is a funny example because she like a lot of people hate her, but they just separate her from her books, you know, and enjoy the books by
Right.
themselves. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was fun mentioning this because how often can you say that you went to like the highest possible person to complain? You know, it's like I marched
fair.
right to like one person who could influence this and personally told. It just gives me it gives me like this giddy
Joy.
feeling, you know. It's like I can never do that with Owen Colfer, the guy who sold his rights to Artemis Fowl because it's too late now, you know. But I can still influence the world like this, you know. I can still go and tell the creator, don't do this, you know. And it's just funny because I'm thinking of it in terms of like this is the guy who would then eventually be in contact with like Disney CEOs, you know. It's like I'm like one removed from some corporate stooge, and my voice is preventing him from earning money. So it's just this fun like power play almost. You know what I mean? Yeah, fun experience. Super friendly guy, just insanely friendly. Just spent like literally like 8 hours signing books for free. It's unbelievable. I bought a ticket to the event because I thought, of course, it has to be paid. And when I got there, they were like, "Oh, you bought the ticket? Here, have some exclusive art. That's all you're getting for the ticket." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I stood there for 3 hours. Oh yeah, fantastic guy. You should read Skullduggery Pleasant. It's a great series, and apparently, he went on a book tour because he just finished his second series that I wasn't even aware of. So now it has
The one you
14
didn't
books to read,
read?
and yeah,
Oh,
I
is
literally told him I
Skullduggery
was
the
like, I didn't.
one with the moving shopkeep?
Moving hotel.
Yeah. I'm the one with the
Moving
shopkeep,
hotel.
kind of, but like,
Yeah.
it's been brought up on multiple occasions between us because I was explaining Marcia. You're like, hey, it's just like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll read that one day.
Yeah, that was how many years ago now?
Like, I even finished the book that I wanted to read because it's traumatizing me.
Was that back when I actually still read the series, huh?
I don't know.
Was it that long ago? Yeah, it's called I still remember this. It's called the Midnight Hotel, and every 12 hours it changes locations. And then the character said, "Why not call it the Midday Hotel?" And the guy said, "That's a stupid name," and that was his reasoning. Um, yeah, that was great. So every 12 hours, the location of the hotel changes. Yeah, and it's the story of like a skeleton, like a living skeleton who died and he came back to life and then he committed war crimes or something and then he became a detective. It's an interesting turn of events, you know, and it's definitely more of a like suspend your disbelief kind of novel, I would say. You know, I feel like you could definitely poke holes into the story, but you're just if you just let yourself, you'll be so busy being swept up by the sheer scale of epicness of stuff. Like at one point, the author Derek Landy he introduced an entirely new parallel universe where everything was the exact same, except all the villains had won, and it played into the main plot line of the story. And it's like you can't enjoy something like that unless you say, all right, it's a little ridiculous, but I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the ride.
A little
Uh,
Hitchhiker's Guide, maybe. I hear it's
yeah.
very silly, but I haven't finished reading it.
Which one?
The first one. The only one. I
For
don't know.
Saturday?
It's one big book in the one that I have, so.
Yeah. I didn't hear the first part, so I don't know what you're
Hitchhiker's
talking
Guide
about
to the
exactly.
Galaxy. Because it starts off with, like, dolphins being crazy, you know?
Right. I only ever knew I know it's like a movie as well, but I mostly know it from the game. I keep telling myself I'm gonna play through it one day, but it's just too difficult almost. You know the game?
Nope.
No, you don't know the game is super famous. It's like the text adventure game where you have like they literally just give you a text box and it they put a lot of humor into it. So it'll be like, hey, the room is pitch or like the game starts out with like it's all dark or something,
Oh, is it like a parody of Text Adventures?
It's not a parody, I'd say, because it's so old at this point. Can you even consider it a parody? At this point, it's just like a text adventure game.
Well, if it's a
But
text
like,
adventure game that plays on the expectations of text adventure games, like the commands are wonky and stuff, or like they're sarcastic commands.
yeah, maybe you can consider it a parody because it starts out with like it's pitch black and no matter what command you do, nothing will work until you type in "open your eyes," and you'd be like, "You're in." It's like, for fuck's sake, like the game doesn't tell you that you had your eyes closed, right? But it will it will let you open them and stuff like that. It's like, hey, I'm gonna take toothbrush, and it's like you can't reach the toothbrush, and then people will go on like all these convoluted things. It's like reach for this to try and get the toothbrush with this and blah 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 blah, and at the end of the day it's just like stand up, walk to toothbrush, and then you can pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's like chapters and chapters of that stuff. It's like a long game as far as I'm aware, but I don't I didn't play it because as far as I know, like if you make a mistake in chapter 1, they won't fucking tell you, and it can be something that waits until like chapter 6 and they're like, well, you fucked up,
Right.
and then they'll just kill you and there's no way to win at that point, and then you just have to replay to that point and go through all the frustration again because on repeat playthroughs I've done this a few times, because there's different ways to fuck up. They're like, okay, I have to get the toothbrush, and it's like you can't get the toothbrush. I'm like, why not? I have to remember that I have to fucking stand up, and stuff like that. It's definitely. Yeah, I don't know. We could play it together.
Of course.
Let's play.
All right, sure.
Let's play Hitchhiker's Guide. But we definitely need to edit it down heavily. Get a guide in.
Okay, whoever's not playing the game is the game itself is in charge of the guide and like not on the nose, but like helpful tips to guide the person playing.
Play it. I think this is exactly up your alley, you grandma. And I played it before, so I know parts of the beginning. So it will be. I'll play the guide, and you play the person who will slowly want to kill themselves.
Not before I do
you. But yeah, it's fun, and Derek Landy is fun. Great guy. I'm gonna meet him again when I'm famous, and then I'll be like, Derek, do you remember me? And he'll be like, yes, and then he'll pull out a sword and stab me.
Oh.
It's like you've become too powerful. I was only friendly to disguise my evil nature. I feel so bad saying this because he's just so
he's
friendly.
Just a nice guy.
But yeah. I got my friend a birthday gift that is a signed copy of the book. That says Harry Potter. Harry Potter? No, sorry. It says Happy Birthday. My mind is just on
Are you okay?
Oh, good. I'm so deprived. Even like the water doesn't work in this new house. I've been here for like 3 days and I've barely drank anything just because like the water is like super. It's got like a ton of calc in it, because they don't have a calc filter installed. And they said, well, install it later. So I've been subsiding off of like Capri Suns and like
Unfortunate.
tea. Yeah. And then today, like my parents bought me just like I told them, please just go out and get like 2-liter bottles of like water or something. I can fucking survive. So I've been drinking. Maybe that's why I shit myself, because it's the first time like I had water in forever.
Ah,
My body's like finally.
hydration.
Yeah, hydration.
We need that for
But yeah,
some reason.
we need that. That is necessary. But yeah, what's the next topic? You want to go back to wyverns?
I want to go back to why the fuck this thing isn't selecting correctly. What did I do wrong? Why? Anyway. Oh.
But yeah, how are you doing?
Not
Any
the
pain?
worst. Oh, just, you know, the
What's
agony of being
best improvement?
being conscious
Not
this very
very.
moment. That's
Oh, of course. Why did I even ask? I'm also super hungry. I haven't eaten properly today. I had like a sandwich in the morning. Have you eaten today?
Oh
I
yeah,
know
I
you've been up
haven't
for like
slept,
16
so
hours.
I ate.
Right, of course. Man, I'm so fucking hungry.
Yeah, why do
Oh
you
god, I could
not eat before these things?
shut your mouth. If I wanted your sass, I would have asked for it. I don't know. I'm kind of dreading my art homework, which I haven't done. I've just been busy for my art lesson, so I pushed it back a week because I had my therapy appointment at the same time. But you know what my art homework is, right? Which is to like watch a movie and
Oh
break it
yeah,
down into like
the thing that requires me not to
16
have seen
scenes.
the movie so you can test it on me.
What did we settle on? Kung Fu Panda 2 or was it SpongeBob 2?
Either one. I don't think they were too special in terms of like which one
Right.
should be done.
All right. Well, Kung Fu Panda 2 is so good, but SpongeBob would be way easier. That's my thought process.
Well, I don't mind. I'm not, you know.
Maybe, well, I hope I can, if my Kung Fu Panda thing will be good enough to inspire you to watch the movie, but it's like an insane amount of like plot to cram into like if I did a Disney movie, I would have no qualms, I'd be like, yeah, I can do this, super easily. 16 scenes are even too much, but like Kung Fu Panda 2 has such a like, and then the backstory, it's like, how am I supposed to portray that in like just 16 scenes and then cut it down to 8? It's another one of those tasks that are designed to make me fail, because it's like fail, come back and I can tell you why you failed, because first you have to fail so I can see how you're failing. uh, and also obviously I got that Lego game, Lego's the Skywalker Saga. I just want to play it. I don't want to do work. I just want to play video games.
Yeah, when you're like, oh no, my computer, I can't use it because it's all in boxes. I guess I'll play a game, and now I only want to play the game.
Yeah. Well, what the thing was that my computer was in boxes. It's like I didn't have my adapter, and I bought it, and then I said the thing you said, which is like, oh, no. Anyways, back to my game. How's this thing, by the way? Are you getting this feeling of epicness yet? I don't know if I can capture it at all with the stupid figure.
At some point,
because honestly, it's not an epic pose. Like the gesture itself is really stiff, which is part of the joke, but it does. I don't know. It adds and subtracts from the joke because it would be really funny if it was super dynamic, but it's also really funny if it's just stiff and stupid. I don't know. How does this look to you? That log had a child, Borscht.
I really like the horse and the guy in the armor. The background's a little weird in comparison to it, but the cool shadows with the almost purplish brown, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shaded in a almost not comically, but comic-y dynamic way. You know, the
Yeah.
classic blue shadows.
Oh yeah, the classic blue shadows. I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
No,
All
it's
right,
a
we'll
really
see if
good
he
piece.
likes it.
It's a detailed, cool.
Yeah, you like it, huh? You fucking whore. Oh yeah. I think what else do we want to talk about? I remember we had a list of topics. And then I had to poop myself and all my memory went with it. Do you remember? Hobo? Hobo.
Mm.
Hey, do you remember?
It did jog my memory some more.
Like, what the frick do we want to talk about?
Oh. No wonder I don't have anything.
There you go. We had all these topics prepared. This is
No, we
typical
had
of us.
one big topic prepared, which is the one I suggested. If you had topics prepared, they were prepared in your brain.
Right, that's okay, fine. Let's talk about what annoys Waffle. What do we
so
talk
many
about that usually
things.
annoys him? Oh my god. How
Oh,
how
I
come
thought
he
you were
likes you
talking
then?
about annoying Waffle, not like the normal like that annoys Waffle.
Oh, right.
We could even talk about the prank you're doing right now.
We can. Let's do it in this order. Let's talk about Waffle and then let's talk about the prank.
Okay.
So why do you think Waffle likes you? Because if he hates everything, what makes you the exception?
Good
Or
question.
does he not like you either, and it just becomes this like, just like, yeah, I tolerate this gremlin. They've latched onto me and just haven't let go.
Well, isn't it funny that a lot of people that get together are almost opposites in a way? Like, there's plenty of similarities, but then there's always like the most poetic of opposites.
Yeah,
And I think if
I
anything,
wonder
that
what it is.
applies. Because
As far as yeah,
because it's really irritating when I figured that out. Because then a lot of stories became a lot more, how many dimensional. Because the fake red herring pairing is they're so alike in so many ways.
yeah,
But then the pairings that actually end up
yeah.
in the end, which I didn't understand when I was younger, were the
You're
ones that were
like, why
the opposite.
you're so good for each other? Why would he date the nerd instead of the beautiful girl? I don't get it. And not to say that nerds aren't beautiful, but that's how 80s movies frame it, right? It's like the hot jock likes the nerd and not the cheerleader. What? But she has messy hair and glasses. Glasses.
Her name is Fowler.
Oh my god! And then they have that stupid transformation just to reiterate, like, don't worry, guys, she is hot. But he still accepts her when she's ugly. What? And yeah, yeah, that's how these movies are. But yeah, it's true. Opposites attract. Maybe because the contrast helps you grow, because that's all a relationship is good for in terms of what I learned from psychology. Right, is that if you are in a relationship, it should be because you want to grow together as people, and then you guys care about each other, and also like you can continue to like you can have all the benefits of the relationship and be healthy enough to grow together.
Yeah.
It's like that's the point of a relationship. And my brain just like started lagging. I'm like, oh, what the fuck was I talking about? It's yeah, that stuff is the important part.
Yeah.
So maybe people just know that subconsciously, and that's why they seek out somebody who is the opposite to them, because it gives them the capabilities, the capacity, the opportunity to experience as much growth as possible. Like the classic introvert is with an extrovert. Maybe maybe they just enjoy having somebody who is loud but also somebody they can tolerate.
Mhm.
You know.
Like opposites kind of reflect themselves in a lot of things. Like the really classic one is the Miyazaki versus Ito.
Yeah, that's the
This is a classic.
classic art one. Well, I think it has something. Maybe it has something to do with the contrast you create for yourself. Like if Miyazaki is around happy things all day, he goes out and he sees the world isn't like that at all, and it sucks ass to him. And the same is it's the same for Junji Ito, where all day, every day he draws horrifying, disgusting things, and then he goes out and he's like, "Oh, neat! It's not really like that," you know. They both just get like the opposite reactions. You know, Miyazaki becomes disillusioned because he's like, "Man, I'm drawing this idyllic, like beautiful shit, and then look at how disgusting everyone else is in reality." And Junji Ito is like, "Well, this isn't nearly as bad as what I've made up," you know.
It reminds me of this lady who is a Disney princess for her daytime job, and so when she gets home, she's like, "I have to draw something horrible. Like I can't take it. I need to cleanse."
Yeah. She's a Disney princess, as in like at Disneyland or what?
Yeah. Like
All right,
dress
and then
up as
she's
Belle or something.
right, and she's also an artist, and she's like, now I'm gonna draw like a triple gang, coitus, schlocken.
I was
You
thinking
know?
more of horror art, but yeah, sure.
All right. Don't, Disney, don't demonetize us, please. Yeah, I guess so. I guess horror would be the one that also makes sense.
So what would what does it mean, do you think, when people end up with someone that's like a not so good parent?
With a not so good parent?
No, like you heard those cases where they
You
date
hiccup?
someone who's like a parental figure. Or not,
Right.
like what's it? Depp even said that he marrying Amber was like marrying his mother.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So are you asking why they do that?
Or like
Or asking me
what
why I
that
think they
could
do that?
in comparison to what we just mentioned, where opposites attract or opposites kind of like balance each other. What
Yeah.
happened to where people do that instead?
Oh, it has to be like emotional damage, you know? Like opposites attract. I don't think that's a rule, you know? I don't think that like people should seek out their opposites because they're going to be more attracted to them. I think that's just a happenstance, you know? It's like it could happen. And people who are attracted to each other obviously also still have a lot of similarities, you know? It's not like they're only opposites, you know? And you shouldn't push yourself to be with somebody you're not comfortable with just because they're the opposite of you or something. That would be stupid. But like the thing with Depp and like people who get into like, because it's an abusive relationship, right? But like even if it's not, people who just seek out like parental figures, it has a lot to do with how they were treated as children, right? It's like you lack the love and affection in your childhood from your actual parents. So now you're consciously or unconsciously trying to make up for that, you know, by finding people with like who can give you that sort of like unconditional love that your mother didn't give you, you know, or father. That's why there's a huge like daddy kink, you know. It's because fucking fathers have been neglectful as hell. You know, so now their daughters are
No.
going out and looking for like
They shop at Hot
you're looking
Topic
for
and
yeah, they shop at Hot Topic. Yeah, they go out and they try and seek that validation and that love and that affection elsewhere. You know, that unconditional like affection, especially. You know, the that like I'm like it's unhealthy because you absolve yourself of all responsibility in those sorts of relationships, you know, like even if you don't mean to. It's like my you see your partner as a parental figure, you know, and it makes you abandon all your responsibilities, and then it's like one partner is carrying everything. That's never going to work out. And it works both ways, where maybe you weren't stable as a child, like and then you seek out to become like a mommy or a daddy or something like that in terms of like these sexual experiences, and it leads you to take on more responsibility than you should in a relationship, because you think, oh, I want somebody to feel loved in a way I never felt loved. But the way you never felt loved, and that was an unconditional love that a child should get, not like something you should do to an adult, because then you make them give up all responsibility. It's just unhealthy in both ways. You know what I mean? And I mean, obviously not to say the kink is unhealthy, but it's I think it originates from this place. You can obviously do and say whatever you want during sex or something like that, but
or something.
just just make sure to not like abandon all like responsibilities, and to like treat it like as a replacement. You just gotta have the ability to like self-reflect and be like, am I really doing this, as because I enjoy it on a kinky level, or am I doing it because it's the comfort I never got,
Yeah, it reminds me of something I said when you were in the loo, which was that a lot of times it's not what you do, it's just how you do it. And that's why it's so hard to like. It's also very hard to judge things, because all we have as examples are, very. You did this, you did not do this, but it's always goes down to what were your intentions behind it. Oh, and that's a wibbly
Yeah, for
wobbly
sure.
goop.
I
Hard
mean,
for
if I
people to
and
hang
yeah,
on to.
it's true. It's true for sure. If I fall and trip, and my intention was to stab you with a knife and not to walk, then it's very different than if I just fell and tripped, like because I was a clumsy oaf. It's like I was on my way to kill you and then I tripped. That would make you have significantly less sympathy for me, you know. So yeah, its intention is very important. It's probably more important than the actual action. What you're saying reminds me of people who apologize for their actions for just to get like it over with. It happens a lot as well, where people will apologize for what they did just for the sake of like saying sorry and ending the conversation.
Oh yeah.
Like they don't want to deal with like the actual what they did wrong, and they just say sorry because sorry is such a reflexy response, being like, all right, I was wrong, you're right, let's just move on. Which is not what an apology is. An apology is simply an admission of guilt, being able to say I was wrong, and I did this wrong, and self-reflecting like that.
Yeah.
And afterwards, if they want to accept it, that is of no relevance whatsoever. It's like it doesn't matter if they accept your apology, because you have apologized, and you have realized that what you did was wrong, and that's the important thing, and that's a real apology. Just saying sorry to end like an argument is not an apology. That's just stupid. And also saying I'm sorry that you feel that way is also not an apology. Or I'm sorry if you're offended. It's like, shut up, you dumb motherfucker. I will gut you with a knife. Shout out to my college professors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what they did. I was like, that's not how you should fucking speak to a student. They're like, I'm sorry if you were offended. I'm like, I'm sorry that your life will end very, very soon. But yeah, what is your thought process on this, you little slut?
Oh, that was the thing where it's like, yeah, it is all about intention at the end of the day, which is probably why it's so hard for people to figure anything out, because all they can think of is the action and not the intent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, if it,
it's really
yeah, go
funny
on.
that you mentioned apologizing.
Because you're about to apologize to me for all the wrong you've done to me
yeah,
over the years.
Apologize
the years
for
of
not
abuse.
ending you sooner. That you're obviously suffering.
You should be sorry. I am suffering. Please end me. Oh boy. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. It's interesting, just how many people with good intentions have huge chips on their shoulders. Going back to
How do you mean?
I was only trying to help. I told
Oh,
you not
right.
to. Please do not. And then you did it anyway. But I was only trying to help. But you also weren't listening.
Yeah, it's funny because this is the case where intention works against like the right thing, because it could have been, if your intention was positive, people feel like it absolves you from stuff. It does not,
Yeah.
it's like your intention can be positive and you can still fuck up like an idiot and you're still gonna have to apologize. It doesn't matter if your intention was good at that point. Like if your intention was bad, it's like then you're doing a bad thing. But even if your intention was good, that doesn't mean you're incapable of doing bad, you dumb fucking idiot. Why do I explain this, Jory? Kill them, my apprentice. Eliminate him. Yeah. Do you have an example you want to name? It sounds like it's something that happened to you recently.
It's not even recent. It's just things that built up over time. Because that was just a huge thing I experienced in general. Because, I'm just, everything is barely held together by pixie dust and dreams, I'll
Yeah,
stack
yeah.
things the most precarious way because I don't know, I'm weirdly detail oriented without being careful.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, it
You're
just
you're
creates
broken on the brain.
just all the opportunities to, for anyone who doesn't know that there's a tower of needles behind them that for, things to go wrong. And then,
Yeah.
I look helpless, and so people are just like, "Oh, let me help you." Do not, do not touch,
Do not do
do
not
not,
help me.
please
I
do not.
require no assistance.
And then,
um
needles in my fingers, things falling, things breaking, whatever. It's like,
it's funny. Because this reminds me of something else. I'm sorry, I'm gonna deviate a little bit.
oh, good, because we're running
W-
dry. I think this is ×2 for this one.
are we? Well, the thing is, like Moon Baboon, the streamer, the streamer.
Yeah, I've been
Whoa,
missing their streams. I wanted to follow when they were live.
you clown. Um, they recently had an experience that is similar because they label their streams as NSFW,
Uh-huh.
because of the way they swear and that they won't shy away from talking about like sex or something like that,
Yes.
right? Or like they label it 18 plus or something.
Yes.
But obviously, like people online will misinterpret intention. They'll see like, oh, it's 18 plus, that means now I can go and like be gross, or like DM them and be like, shower them with like compliments. And then they told me about this experience they had recently where like somebody DM'd them and they were like, oh, you're so pretty, and then they were just like, yeah, thanks, cool. uh and stuff, just like generic responses, and the person wouldn't let up, you know what I mean? And then they were like, well, okay, just fuck off, at that point. And the person was like, my intention was only to like be nice, you just can't take compliments. And stuff like that. And it's like it's another case where sometimes people will say they have good intentions, but in reality there will also be bad intentions, you know and they won't even realize themselves that what their intentions are like misguided,
Mm-hmm.
which is just interesting because it seems like it's such a difficult thing to get out of, because like, yeah, it's easy to say, it's not difficult, people can just self introspect, but like that's a lot to demand off of like fucking dumbasses,
Yeah.
and then they don't always have the capability, and the only thing we can do at a certain point is to like stop pushing for people's improvement and to just drop them like the trash they are, you know
Or, you just avoid people who haven't learned yet
Drop them
until
like the
they
trash they
learn.
are. Drop them like the trash they are.
You
Drop
could,
them
there's a
like
little more
trash.
positivity
Drop
one could
them like
have.
piece of trash.
Oh
Drop them
yeah,
like trash.
the person, AO Jimbo, who doesn't accept any sorts of DMs whatsoever. He's like, you don't DM me
Indeed.
for anything. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'll ban you.
I think that's the right attitude.
Yeah.
I think that's the correct stream attitude. What you're doing is also something I don't agree with. Being in a server with people who watch your streams. Disgusting.
Well, it's not a public server. It's a hand-picked
I know
server.
it's not. Yeah, but your hand pick, you gotta pick better hands. To me at least, it's like I don't know. To me, it's too small. Not like that. The people are the issue or something. Even though I just implied that, I didn't mean to. That's just a joke. All right, calm the fuck down. um, the what was I gonna say? The implication is man, what the fuck was I gonna say? What were we talking about? My brain fried out for a second. It's really difficult to
Yeah,
draw
it's
and
too
then speak at the same time.
small. Server too small for
Oh,
something.
right. Yeah. The relationship that I want to have with my viewers is just so strictly like you watch me, I say what I want. That's the kind of culture I want to manifest. And
Yes.
on like a small scale, it doesn't matter. Like right now, it doesn't fucking matter. Because like even if you have like a server with like people you do follow and you just go in because you like enjoying being with your followers or whatever, then that's still
It's
fine
not
because it's a small
followers.
scale.
It's
Huh?
it's a collaborative server.
I know, but they follow you for you and watch you.
Yeah, but it's like, what if we met through this and then we wanted to work together? This is where you would go so we could work on our projects better.
I guess that's true. I guess maybe I'm not as good as you at drawing like the line in my own head, and then it gives me that difficulty. So I would rather just do what Jimbo does and say we don't talk at all. Fuck you, and then just have that like the separation of church and state very clearly.
I mean, he actually has a public server, so it's halfsies again.
And halfsies,
It's
okay. Well, maybe
halfsies.
I just don't know the answer because I'm not God, but maybe I am. So who's to say? Who's to say if I'm right? I am right. Bow down.
Well, here's
but yeah.
like Toasty is a private server, and you just chuck any old person who won't talk ever. And then that's a private server kind of thing. But I would say mine is definitely for business interests. I want to collaborate. I want to like the connections I didn't get in school, I want to get now with just starting out streaming. Because, the people that you start out with are going to be like the connections people talk about when they go to school, is where you learn together, you grow together, and then if you have opportunities or connections, that's where you help each other out. And that's just kind of how it goes. So,
exactly,
my server
these connections
is kind of like that.
You and I. That's nice. I mean, as long as you like it, it doesn't matter what I say.
It was a learning curve. I let too many people without screening. That's for sure.
Too many dumbasses in. Well, it's funny, right? Because the connections we make now are definitely the ones that make a difference later. Like, remember, like the fucking people who I was working for, like years and years ago, the music studio who wanted me to make them like the intro or whatever. And then I did and never used it. They
never.
I mean, they never used it. I guess because it looked too unprofessional. But they paid $20 for it, and it took me forever. So, so fuck them. It's like that was worth way more than $20. But yeah, I did their stupid thing, and now they're a lot more like I wouldn't say famous, but they're a lot more well known, and they themselves collaborate with a lot of people. And had I kept that connection up because they were friendly people, then, I could have had that in on their little world right now, just like that's why you're friends with me, right? It's because you know I'm going to be very successful, and eventually you can leech off of me.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely it.
That's actually I'm saying this to you, but that's what I'm doing to you.
I know that's what you say to me all the time. Play the switcheroo on stream.
The switcheroo. Well, yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm gonna leech off you when I have the chance. If you're famous, I'm famous, bitch. That's the way we're gonna do it. I'm like I have no qualms about that whatsoever. If you're famous, I'm gonna muscle in on all of your fame and cut me a slice. Let's say you have 1 million fucking followers. I'll take 10,000. I'll take 1,000 even. I'll just take a slice. I'll take my tiny little slice from you, and then I'll continue taking slices from all my more successful friends until I have like a hodgepodge of like a broken cake.
That's funny that
Oh,
it looks when it's described like that, it sounds so the little gremlin grabbing a cake from underneath the table when it's just a matter of not taking, just
taking
finding
what I deserve. What's mine?
the people who
Yeah.
couldn't find you before, and so it'd basically be finding people who would have already been interested in you if they
Yeah,
had known about it. Unless they're
I'm
the
definitely
really easily persuaded individuals that are like, I don't know, there for the sake of, there's those folks that it goes back to the dragon thing. Oh, this is connected to some other person. I should obviously also be connected to this thing, and then they do it, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
that's not
It
helping
is
anybody.
funny. I'm definitely making it sound more malicious than it actually is, which is just that people see me and you hang out and they like me, so they come join, so they can see more. It's just like when you hear a musician collaborate with another musician, and it's like, oh, this guy's cool, and you go seek out some of their stuff. It's the exact same. I'm just making it sound like I'm taking advantage of you because
It's funny.
I don't know why. I guess it's funnier, yeah. And also, it tickles my pickle, my big,
Yep.
fucking huge, girthy pickle
That's fermenting
in
in
my
the fridge as we
in
speak.
the fridge. Exactly. Oh my God. Just seeing the stupid honk honk that you added in on your duck earlier, because my stream, the stream that I'm watching is still it's like 30 minutes behind or something, and I just noticed you added in honk 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 in the JoJo style, and I've never hated you more in my life.
I'm getting paid to do this. How does this make you feel?
Just awful.
Awful.
All right, let's see. Yeah.
Mr.
Oh
Pickle.
boy. Mr. Pickle.
Mr. Pickle.
All right. Oh yeah. What do you want to talk about next, you chicken nugget?
Oh, that's so funny that chicken nuggets keep on getting brought up because Jimbo was trying to convince chat that fucking capybaras are just nature's chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this game where you run a spa for what?
Chupacabra.
Thank you. Chupacabra. And he's like, yeah, the spas are frying oil. And you know what? I would play that game. I would lure in unsuspecting chupacabra, and then capybara. Thank you. There we go. And then fry them up in their quote unquote spas. That sounds like a fun game. Why did I draw this face weird? I don't know. What's wrong with it?
Me neither. You're just a dumbass, aren't you?
I don't know.
Do you think I should keep this teal so that the contrast is better?
teal is nice. Just take like one color that's predominant on it. Oh, it's not teal, that's for sure. You could have made it
I mean,
teal once upon a time, but now it is brown.
for this one, you think is this the spear? Are you talking about the spear?
Yeah.
What color should I make it then?
Well, it's nice, but it's not blue.
Oh god. Whatever. It's not that important. But it is because the continuity. I hate how like unprofessional the second part looks. The first part I put like hours and hours of time into,
Look,
and the second part is just like it's here.
yeah, but if it, that's a style, the whole establish something and then draw it simpler in the other frames. That's a comic style because there's no way you could draw a detailed thing in every action panel.
That's true.
You're going to
true.
hate everything more than you already do.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'll try and do. I'm gonna pull like a gradient thing.
All
Maybe
right.
that will work.
Yeah, that would do
And
it.
just like, yeah, pull like the colors that I have here, anyways, as like a, and then give it a contrast that way. Let's see. Anyways, what do you want to talk about next, Monkey Child?
Gosh, there's just an event in Balloons TD6, which is a game where you are a monkey and you
You've been
pop
playing
balloons.
that very much recently.
And I
Playing it every
can't
time?
play it. Like, I can't play the event because it would take too long to do. Like, sure, it's been up and running, but I'm not doing anything at the time.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so there's no way I could invest the amount of time it's going to take me to do the event. I tried for a few hours. I did. Because there's a thing that makes it so chicken spawns every time you put down a farm. And that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And I'm too stupid to get it. I can't play.
Is it one of those things that are like pay to win or something?
No, it's the complete opposite. It's actually a good game. Because you unlock all the towers yourself. And then every stage, you just buy whatever tree you want with the in-game like stage currency, and so you make a strategy, you know, for each thing: derpy strategy, smart strategy. You know, snipers call in a bunch of drops that give you money. Alchemists turn lead balloons into gold. It's hijinks and sensory video. You know, those baby sensory kind of like.
But then why does this game still have timed events with rewards? That's usually what you get in like microtransaction-y games, so that they can motivate you to buy the coins or in-game currency, so you can bypass it. You know.
Oh, I don't know. Probably because you can complete the game by getting the stages and clearing them all, and then what do you do after that? Challenging events.
Well, I guess.
And raids or whatever.
That's true. How has the game been? I've been seeing you. Have you been playing it every time it's open? Because I see you opening it like all the time.
Well, there's two ways I've been playing it recently. One is on my own, which will be like for an hour or two, and then the other one is is leeching off of the goodwill of anybody else. And because there's stages that you can go into with friends. Actually, every stage you can go into with friends, and then you can place down towers wherever you want. It's like a setting or whatever. And then after you beat like 100 levels in this one stage, it goes into free mode, which means that random balloons spawn every, you know, stage, and it gets incrementally harder. And
yeah,
and it takes an obscene amount of resources and stuff to do. And so the strat is to like strategically create money and pull it into someone who's got paragons unlocked, so they can to make the ultimate monkey and destroy things for as long as possible. And I don't know why I do that, because it really doesn't give you that much of anything. It's just kind of funny.
Well, that doesn't explain to me why you're still playing so long.
Oh, it's because if you're in these free plays, it can go on for hours. Like 2 hours
Oh,
in one
okay.
stage because it goes on almost forever.
Oh,
It can go forever.
right. So you can't rip yourself from the screen.
It just keeps popping. Sounds happen.
Right. The
And
sounds you're like, okay, stimulates the monkey brain.
exactly. It is actually a sensory, video for children. It's just in a video game.
Right. Okay, that explains it to me. That makes me feel slightly less bad about playing the Skywalker saga constantly and neglecting everything else. Um, it's difficult because I just had my vacation in art class, and then after that, like all of my roommates, like exam stress began, you know,
Mhm.
and it kind of dragged me along with it. And then I had to travel, and then obviously I'm stressed from that. And then I had to cancel my art lesson anyways because I had like an appointment at the same time, and it just became my second vacation.
Yeah.
I had like 2 consecutive vacations almost, which is fine, I guess. The first one I didn't really relax. You remember?
Yeah, I
You're
remember.
like,
You
"Why did
even
you
forgot all the
mistake?"
goals you wanted to do, and
I was like,
could
I'll
barely
calm down and read
read.
some manga. Yeah, and then I didn't. I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to gather inspiration and rest. And then like I was 2 days away from my vacation ending, and you're like, did you read anything or relax at all? I'm like, no.
Relaxing, what's that?
uh, when's the last time you had a vacation?
I both slept and didn't sleep for the last how many days? Is that a vacation?
No, it's not. That's
Oh.
verge of death. So yeah, that's no good. That's a no good. Um,
I don't know, I don't remember because I try not to allow myself, but things like,
to
oh yeah,
rest.
I can auto this game, aka the monkey game, and then I get
Yeah,
distracted by it. Because yeah, I
I
can't
mean,
auto it. There's a sort of because especially when
you're
someone's
lying to yourself
carrying
like
me,
that.
this
Yeah,
perfectly amounts to be autoed. And there's also stages where you get a certain amount of money, and that's all you get for the entire stage. So you get to basically make your entire setup and let it run all by itself.
yeah.
And so, but oh,
It's
it
very
makes
addicting.
poppy sounds and the
I get
things light
it.
up.
Yeah. Inside and outside of the brain. Oh, oh. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You're really stupid,
Yeah, yeah.
and I should shoot you in the leg
Oh, you know what's
14
funny
times.
about the geo-ness that you see in the shoulders? That's just from me kind of learning anatomy. I've had to geofy a lot of the body just to remember slash conceptualize it. Like this is actually how the muscle kind of is, and the collarbone kind of attaches underneath this fucking deltoid, this tower shield, this little heater shield,
Right.
and then this thing just kind of comes up from the neck, and then that's how I've been able to remember it. This entire part here is like
Like a little
you bite off
pillow.
the head of a red bean paste fish. It's left over as this
Right.
little shape here, and that's that's how it is.
That's funny. Well, I'm starting to realize more and more that geoness that I crave can just be boiled down to the fact that I want very clear, very defined form. You know, it's not really an art style that any specific person has or doesn't have. What appeals
Oh,
to my monkey brain is just that I can tell it's still a square for some reason. That tickles my pickle when I see stuff like that, like a dragon head. You know, the dragon head that is I've been. That's what
the
I thought
literal dragon that
you
you're
meant.
chasing.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. But that reference, it has a beautiful like geometric dragon that is also organic at the same time, and it tickles my brain in the sense that it's like it looks like art, it looks proper, it looks well defined, but it also looks cartoonish and comic-y because it is still like a super well defined form. Like I know exactly what it is. If somebody asked me to sculpt it out of clay, you know, it wouldn't look good, but I would know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, you know? And then it's just that part of like I can understand this. It just pickles my tickle a little bit, you know? And I have no idea why. It's definitely just one of those monkey things, you know, but why does anybody like anything, you know? It's just life. That's life. That's what all the people say.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
guess my art dragon would be I could condense it into say it's Jimbo's art style because it's funny because it's the opposite for him because he's a chronic it's not generalizer. Loose painter. He is a chronic loose painter. Where
chronic
yeah.
Those Chinese at it again with the cheese.
Excuse me, what? Why? You know what's so bad about that is that he's actually Asian.
No worry, I'm Asian too. You're Asian. We're fine.
We never wanted to use that excuse, remember?
Right.
Fucking what's it called?
I apologize with like pause, like cat pause.
Don't prostrate yourself. I'm just saying.
Well, you called him a generalizer. How can I not make a racist
I didn't even get the joke. I don't get it. Wait, is it general? Is it the chicken? Is it chicken joke?
Well, it's because you take a group of people and you generalize them into be a stereotype. You know.
Okay, it was not what I was thinking. I thought you were making a chicken joke because one of the Americanized dishes, I don't know, is maybe it's not Americanized. I don't have any knowledge, but general Chow's chicken.
General Tso's chicken.
Yeah. I thought that's where you were going.
Oh no, I wasn't. But that's making me hungry. Oh man, I love General Tso's chicken.
Fucking.
And I love Chinese people.
Yeah.
I should know. I'm half Taiwanese. Actually, that means I don't like Chinese people.
Oh, that's a really funny time for you to say that. Because your family hobbles out of the cave. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. My mother burst in. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it burst in just in time for you to say, I really don't like Asian people.
It was perfect timing. No, it's so annoying. Like I told her like fuck it just now. I was like, what the fuck, you know? It's like I said I would be busy from like 4 to 7, and now it's 7, so she just assumed she can burst in and be like, "Hey, yo, we're ordering pizza. What's up?" And I was like, "Bruh, I don't know. Fucking just text me. I'm live." You know, like this is fine now because we don't have an audience, but like this is gonna be hella annoying if we ever do have an audience. You know, I don't want like people bursting in on stream who, I guess in a way, aren't supposed to be there. You know. And this time it was fine because this time she's just like, "You want pizza?" But like sometimes she'll burst in and she'll yell my name. I'm like, "Okay, thanks. I've just been I've been de-doxed by my own mother."
Yeah, it's funny that you told me earlier, like, this will be so nice because I'm gonna have a room that'll be less bothered by other people barging in.
Yeah. You know what the issue is? I would just lock the room door, but the previous owners lost the keys to their locks. So we just have to replace the lock. So until that can happen, I just have to deal with this. But you damn well know that if I get my locks, I'll just lock it. Have my peace and quiet, you know?
Ow.
You okay? You suffering over there?
A little, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, very annoying. You know, it's like freaking the whole entitlement kind of bullshit. It's like, bro, just because I overstood like the time that I was gonna say doesn't mean you can burst in here and fucking like I'm live. This is important. I'm live. Like I wouldn't be pissed unless I wasn't live, you know, because it's just like safety concerns. You know how many safety measures I take to kind
Yeah.
of consume identity, you know, because I'm paranoid about that stuff. I'm just gonna get outed by my mother
Yeah,
bursting
yeah.
in. The most fucking frustrating thing ever, you know, because they can apologize, but it's not gonna take
Yeah,
back
it's not
what fucking
gonna
happened,
change
you know.
anything.
Yeah. Oh, hiccups, hiccups, hiccups.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking, I told her next time just text me or message me on my phone. Don't burst in the door. Like the fuck. Annoying. I'm gonna have to chain her up later and beat her with with a brick. Oh, you know how movies they always chain people from like the lead pipes in their basement for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, let's
You
go
know.
ruin the water pipage in this
Yeah,
house so then the water person has to come in. What's
exactly.
this?
It's
Oh, it's
what
just rats.
it I bonked it real hard. Yeah, it is just stupid. I mean, come on. Like, imagine being the kidnapper and you're upstairs and the pipe breaks, and I
Imagine
was like,
being the kid.
now we can't wash our hands anymore because John insisted on chaining them to pipes. You know,
Oh, John.
we put them to a chair or something, but no, fucking idiots. All right, and my sister has like a bunch of guests over as well.
Makes it even worse.
Oh yeah, it makes it all worse. That's, you know, the soundproofing that I'm gonna get for this room isn't just for isn't just for me, it's for them as well. So I don't have to hear them. Or I guess it's the opposite, it isn't just for them, it's also for me. I don't want to hear them either, you know, they shouldn't hear me and I shouldn't hear them.
Right.
My eternal peace. But yeah, man, my family's being annoying, but I'll tell you after the stream. You know, I won't air my dirty laundry here until I can actually monetize it. Then I will. Then you better believe I will. You know, but for now, I'm not getting paid for it, so there's a little point to exposing myself like this. One day, one day.
One day this will just be more content for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, right? What was it? Like my parents, like I'll mention a small thing. So my mother said like, oh, when you were younger, you always talked about moving away, you know. And I just want to know like why, because now you have moved away, and I'm like, well, the doy, it's because this house sucks, you know. It's like home is like a place where you should feel comfortable, you know, and to be free to do what you want. But it's just not like that. My family's like boomers who have all judgmental mentalities, you know, and it's difficult for them to change that. And you know, so I'm just not gonna be here. You know,
Yeah.
it's like if it's not gonna, if their attitude is not what's going to change, then I'm just going to leave. It's as simple as that, you know.
Yeah,
But they talk about wanting to like work on it, you know. So who's to say, you know, besides me and my all-saying wisdom, you know, who's to say besides the fact that I'm better than every person who's ever lived? Who's to say? Also, I don't know. Is this multiply the same as like the colors seem a lot darker here, but they might just be the exact same. Oh, these colors are darker. Now that's confusing. Well, I guess they are the same. I guess it's just in my head. The shading looks a lot darker. You know?
well, the colors around it affect the colors, so they'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, why don't you tell me about your family? We can balance this out.
Well, there's one thing I'm not gonna do, and it's gonna visit the home country, you know, because
All right. Yeah.
you know, my folks are there because of some, you know, like, weird
Somalia.
inheritance shtick, and it's, you know, we didn't have to. No one had to chase after that, and so
Yeah, but they chose to.
yeah, one of them chose to.
One of them chose to.
Yeah,
Right. I
and
mean,
then
is it
A
I
person.
thought it was resolved by
No, it's
now,
never gonna
right?
be
Oh,
resolved.
okay, well, never mind.
And
Yeah,
so that sucks because decisions of one person is ruining or affecting many other lives.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when the decision was still up in the air, what they listened to was people that maybe they get to see once every, couple years, people who wouldn't be able to
yeah,
lend a
like
hand,
extended
extended
family.
family. And they didn't listen to is the immediate family, which are the ones who are, taking care of things, holding them up.
The one actually affected. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
get it.
And then now they just, I somehow managed to get out of the worst of it at the
Right, and
expense
you're
of,
just
other
letting them
people.
die. It's like, go suffer if you so choose. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, and then, the sentiment is like, oh, come visit the country. Sometimes I'm like, no.
No, I will not.
Look
Well,
what
it's
happens
funny.
when you don't listen to your immediate family, huh? Look, you don't get what you want, huh?
Oh, it's funny because extended family has to be the biggest joke I've ever heard, you know? It's like it's people you see even less than your friends, you know? And for some reason you're supposed to care more about them. Like I don't give two shits, you know, about like my cousins because I don't know them. I don't speak to them. I'm not their friend. I don't have any bond with them. You know, it's like who the fuck cares, you know? It's like if I guess maybe this is more of a modern take because old people don't think like this, right? But like, can you imagine? It's like, oh, I'm gonna buy a car. Let me ask my cousin. You know, it's like, no, I'll just go do my own research or ask like my friends. You know, it's like, oh, I need advice on this. Let me ask the extended family. No, it's the last people you ask. You know, just from like if like from the top of my head, if I was in a similar situation. You know, I mean, people back in the day, I guess they value family more because of some communist bullshit, but now we live in the 21st century. Thank you very much.
Well, I
I'm
think
kidding.
back then, after we went from villages to that everyone took care of the children. Now only the people directly connected take care of the children. But then,
Yeah.
with all technology and stuff, I guess it's just getting more and more common where people are just, take care. I'm gonna take care of myself, just like comics. I'm gonna take care of myself.
Yeah.
But no, I've heard a lot of people who still depend on their family, like
Pussies.
the people who are close to their cousins. Like when I was
Right, right.
younger, I was way more closer to my cousins because we would see each other very often, and then there was just no visitations after a while, and so now it's distant. And I wouldn't think about asking cousins for stuff, but it's funny when it happens overseas because there's this weird thing about you never got the opportunity to, and these are technically your family members, and then there's stuff like letting them stay over, or giving them a tour, or taking the time to just spend time, and that is a fascinating
Yeah.
concept because people do that still even without the
With people who
attachment
are
at
essentially
all. Yeah, it was
strangers.
essentially strangers. It's very
See,
interesting.
I don't think I will be that kind of person,
No, I
you
wouldn't
know?
either.
I think if in like 10, 15 years I have my own place and one of my cousins knocked on my door and it's like, cousin, remember me? Please, I need help. The mafia's after. I just closed the door. It's like, you deal with the mafia by yourself. Thank you very much. I don't care. You know, not in a malicious way. Just it's like that doesn't concern me. Why should I take on this risk or lend you money or give you a place to crash? Fucking book a hotel, take out a loan. You know, don't lead such a stupid life that brought you to these decisions. Reap what you sow. Suffer for all I care. Like, if you really want help, go to a family member. Who cares? But it's not gonna be me. Uh, You know, I guess, I mean, people will say it's cruel, but it's just healthy to me, you know? It's my business is my own. I'm not gonna exert myself for somebody I don't care about, you know?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
when
pretend to care for what, like, to keep up appearances. No, you know, I don't care. Go ahead, do your own thing. Bye bye now.
yeah, like people condoning or not condoning actions. And it's funny when it could be the difference between someone's actual mental health or not. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of things, strange things people do, and it's really easy to go, ah, that person's dumb or that person's stupid. But then it's like if they're actually taking care of themselves, and that could be the difference between them becoming a serial killer or, mental health.
yeah. I definitely know what you mean because I used to look down on people who I didn't understand. You know, it's like, oh, what they're doing is so stupid, and then eventually realize, or like what they're doing is stupid or rude or like not thinking for the future. But in fact, those people were thinking way more about the future than I ever was. You know,
Hmm.
and then they were planning ahead way further, and they were realizing that you know that to be healthy they had to do these things that they were doing and to seem like they were being rude or something. You
Hmm.
know, it's just people drawing their own boundaries. If you think that's rude, then you're the fucking idiot, you know?
Yeah.
It's like people drawing boundaries is never rude. They're fucking drawing their boundaries. They're saying this is not okay. This is where I draw my line. It's not rude. Everybody has their limits, you know? And if you don't draw your limits, eventually you're gonna start exploding and becoming super aggressive, like in like anger outbursts, and then who's the fucking fucked one? It's still you dumb motherfucker, you know? Just draw your boundaries. God damn, you don't owe anything to anybody. But also, this is terrible advice if you're a terrible person. If you're a terrible person, listen away, you know? And if you're a good person who just lets themselves get pushed around too much, this is advice for you, you know?
Hmm.
Because I mean, that's the dangerous thing about like healthy
Advice.
advice. Like people use it to justify their bad actions. You know, they use it to gaslight people. You know, like I'll say, you know, drawing boundaries is healthy. If I had a big audience, you know, and I talked about this stuff more frequently, then somebody could, you know, the possibility is always there that somebody goes home and says and starts fucking arguing with their spouse or their family or their friends. And it's like, oh, I'm just drawing boundaries. No, you're not. You're out there picking a fight because you're a little bitch and you're using this as an excuse to be a little bitch, you know? And then that's the danger of it, you know,
Yeah.
of me giving advice like that because it helps people, but it also causes just as much trouble, you know?
Yeah, basically. That's already happens, like even in 1-to-1. That can already happen.
Oh, yeah, for
It's
sure.
so at
But
a
then one to
certain
one, I feel
point
like it's easy to discourage it. You know, it's like Jory, you dumb fuck. You know, and I know you in person, so I know more about your life than per se a stranger on the internet. You know, so I can get more involved. I can be like, all right, maybe this and this is stupid of you to do, you dumb fucker. You know, because I know more context. But
Mhm.
like for an internet person, they're like, oh, I told my wife I'm just drawing my boundaries when I'm fucking this 12-year-old.
Oh my
And
god.
I beat 21-year-old, and then you know she got all mad. I'm like, but just you're still cheating on her even if she's 21. You know, it's like it's not drawing boundaries. You're just being a dumbass. You know. But then maybe he'll be like, "Oh, but she's also abusive as hell every day." You know, that's why I cheated. It's like I don't have that context, you know, to determine
Man,
like
what kind of fucking soap opera?
yeah, exactly. And also I don't know the person, so I don't even know how to phrase something so that they understand it. Because everybody's a dumbass and everybody needs a different way of communicating. I gotta speak to you differently than I speak to other people.
Mm.
Well, actually, not really, because I only have 3 friends, and I handpicked all 3 of you, and you're all 3 like my closest friends. Like um I don't know. You all win in your own category. You
Yeah,
know,
that
it's
would it
funny.
would require like 3 different categories.
Well, look, it's like the thing is like I have a hard time talking about friendships because I don't do casual friendships,
Yeah.
and I don't really have a desire to. I just have you my friend from Germany, and then one other person, and you know all three, and it's like that's the only thing I need for the rest of my life. I'm fine with this, as my like super close friends, and obviously I'm still friends with like other people like Ollie and such and such and such and such, right? But
Yeah.
I don't like with you three. I don't really feel like I have to change my communication method, in fear that you won't understand me. I think y'all will understand me no matter how I say something.
Mm.
You get what I mean, bitch?
Yeah, the one-on-one, you have the opportunity to like make connections and be more understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
guess
I
that's
burped.
yeah, it sounded just like a gangster, yeah.
I said yeah and burped at the same time. It just came out like you.
I guess that's the hardest person to deal with. It reminds me of the hardest person that I just can't deal with is a non-communicative. Yeah, you know this. I can't deal
Yeah.
with non-communicative. If there's no even attempt at communication, it's like shouting at space and then looking for aliens, and the
Yeah.
aliens just kind of like don't bother.
Aliens. Yeah.
But yeah, there's two kinds of no communication that I've seen so far. One is outright no reply whatsoever. And then the other one is a facade that everything is okay. Like constant
Yeah.
compliments and constant reassurances, and then goes somewhere else and then says, the complete opposite.
Or like the two-face thing where, yeah. I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's malicious two-face or if it's like literally changing their minds every time they open their mouth. Like someone could be that unstable. Like it's really
That's
easy.
possible,
I remember
yeah.
when I was younger, it's hard to pick sides because I listened to something like, "Oh yeah, that sounds right," and then I like listen to someone else,
Yeah.
"Oh, that sounds right too."
Yeah, everybody can be hella convincing in their own field. That's why you even have stuff like COVID deniers or something. It's not because what they're saying is crazy. It's because they can present themselves in a charismatic way to fool people. It's just like it's like all that stuff is out there in the world, and then if you're an unstable person, then of course you're going to flip flop between all the charismatic people. Even on YouTube itself, you have people like, this movie is crap, this movie is really good, this person just doesn't understand, and then you have to, if you aren't decisive, then I guess the last opinion you heard is the one you stick with. you know
They're walking down the street and they hear someone talking about like, "Oh yeah, that's my opinion now."
Everyone's knocking on my door today.
Is it your sister?
How would you know? Can you recognize the knock?
Well, I'm going down the list.
Yeah. But yeah, it was my sister. It's pretty funny.
I figured like it couldn't be a lightning strikes twice. It has to be now it's the
It has to
earthquake.
be
We have to
yeah.
mix it up.
She said something cute. She said, "I'll put a sock on the door." I'm like, no, do not.
Why not?
I was like,
That
what
would get the message across.
Oh yeah, sure it would. My God, what the hell was I gonna say before I got interrupted again?
And what's worse,
Oh,
putting
here's
a
another.
sock on the door and getting interrupted?
You know what? You're right. How about I just put a sign on the door that says "Violent diarrhea in progress. Please do not enter." Oh,
If you
God.
open the door, I'll vomit everywhere.
I will instantly shit. I have I have like a laxative linked up to like a suppository laxative linked up to a piston positioned right on my chair that will trigger the instant somebody opens the door. And I will not disarm it until I am done.
We'll see. This is the perfect video format because someone's gonna open the door.
Oh God. All right, let me talk about one last part of like bad communication. Here's another one.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever know people who when you argue with them, they're just super non-confrontational, not in the good sense, but in the sense that
Oh.
they just apologize, or they try to de-escalate by just like they just try to de-escalate and then not actually ever resolve the situation. So it becomes this like, oh, I'm sorry, and then they'll immediately be sorry, and then they'll just refuse to pursue the topic any further because they already apologized in their mind, and it's over
Oh,
for them.
we have a variation of that in our community where it's not apologetic. It's, oh, this is obviously my opinion. This is your opinion. We don't have to discuss it further. And I guess that's fine for, mental health and setting boundaries. But for the sake of, conversation, it only begins when you disagree. It only gets more interesting the more you dig into it.
Yeah. It's funny that is true. Well, there's it's like with everything, there's a degree that is too far that you can take it with. Like if you're arguing and you just keep disagreeing, then it is fine to be like, okay, that's just my opinion, but and then you leave it at that. But also maybe it's a sign that you just don't want to open up to other possibilities. You're just really stubborn, and you're using it as an excuse to not have to grow. Because growth is difficult and scary and blah 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 blah. And to like you got to admit that you're wrong, which is something that nobody ever does, because it's not taught to kids. When I was a kid, I was taught not like verbally, but like through show and tell by like my parents and like all my peers, that like if you do something wrong, you're supposed to be ashamed. And then that's just carried forth by children who then mock people who get stuff wrong. And it's just so dumb, because nobody unlearns that, or hardly anyone unlearns that. It's fine to be wrong. It's fine to apologize, and when you are actually wrong, to say that I am wrong, just as much as it is right to like stand your ground. If you are wrong, fuck it, then just be like, okay, I made a mistake, and it's fine. Who cares? So you made a mistake. It's not the end of the world. It means nothing. But with people like that who are non-confrontational in that way, like admitting that they could be wrong, or that their opinion might not be 100. It doesn't even have to mean that they're wrong and the other person's right. It just means it's a different opinion. But I guess it's scary enough or close enough to be kind of like, okay, I don't even want to get close to the idea that I could be wrong. So I'm just gonna shut it down. You have your opinion, I have mine. Bye bye. And what would you say? You potato-headed freak.
Look, I like having a potato head. How dare you? Don't you enjoy having fries with your burger? There wouldn't be any fries without potatoes. You remember that the next time you insult my people. Oh, Shun Kitten says, I literally woke up mid-sleep, 1:25 a.m. Saw your stream. Need to comment. Written comments. Yes, good night.
Thanks for joining, Shun Kitten. You can watch the entire stream in post. I mean, that it's live, but it gets saved to YouTube. You can watch every single one you miss the day after, and then text me what you thought, and then share it to your friends. I want a Filipino audience. Because Filipinos are super hot, and I like having influence in that community.
Well, I guess you have a good shoe-in, don't you? You have a really obvious shoe-in.
Look, ranking my favorite types of Asians. Okay, one.
Oh no.
Filipinos.
Oh no.
It's like, I'm not trying to hit you.
Wait. All right, wait. Okay, wait a second. I'm good.
Noise is easier to spell. Right. All right. Look, 2, Indian. Right, Indian girls. They don't age. I
thought Desi girls would be up top.
It was Desi girls on top for a long time.
Yeah.
But then I just with the internet and everything, I feel like I feel like Pinoys just have the slight edge, and also obviously Desi has gone down for me because now I know and live with my roommates who are Indian, and they are the most infuriating, annoying people
Oh,
that I
okay.
ever
No,
met.
there we
And
go. That's where it is. That's
it just gets me
Yep.
mad. So the Desi girls get bonked down to second place.
Sad
But
causality.
if I had to rate appearance only, I would say it's weird because both have such extremes. Like Desi girls have like some of the most beautiful people on earth, and so do like Filipino girls. But god damn, some of them are ugly.
Well, isn't that
Yeah,
like you could find
that's
that
true.
in so many?
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's just more apparent when like it's like mother and daughter, you know? It's
What?
like mother is like a freaking like gremlin on stilts, you know? And the daughter is this like ageless beauty that'll look that way until she's 64, at which point she turns into the gremlin.
Uh-huh.
Uh, like I kid you not, I had this Indian girl in school whose mother literally just looked like her. It was like the same person, just slightly taller.
Yeah,
I
no,
was like,
that's familiar.
God damn. And all right, favorite Asian girls. What other Asian girls are there? So Pinoy's, Desi. I don't know. Taiwanese, maybe? Taiwanese girls are basically Chinese girls, but without the crazy.
Uh-huh.
Or slightly less crazy. So that's pretty up there. I think the rest is more of a toss up. It really is
Uh-huh.
between these two, you know, for most my life. Because I know, like, don't flatter yourself too much, right?
I
I
don't. Don't worry.
I know Filipinos besides you, and sometimes I'm like, damn, your whole culture just like this, huh?
Yeah, basically.
Uh, but you know, they both. It's funny how both my top picks suffer from the great granny syndrome, you know,
Yeah.
where they will look fantastic for years and then suddenly become like the nastiest gremlin you ever did see.
It's the price one pays, I think.
Yeah, it's the price of youth. You have to suffer for it as well. Uh, but yeah. Anyways, I think I'm almost done with this.
Oh, good. That
I
means
might
I'm
finish
almost
it.
done with it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're just gonna stop.
Oh, it means that I'm just gonna finish coloring it and then I'll add some sort of background elements. Probably gray because it's isolating.
Why does this guy have an ominous hole in his skull? Look at this.
Your
That's just clicking around.
transparencies are.
My transparency has a weird hole and it's kind of ominous as hell.
Yep. Well,
Why is this on this layer? What the hell is
I
going
don't know what
on?
you do.
What? That's not what I wanted.
That's
That's
unusual.
a reference I was going to copy.
Unexpected. But not
Whoa.
unwanted.
Alright, this is strange. Okay, let me merge these layers. Let me fix this, I guess. You know what we can talk about?
Yeah.
Ominous predictions.
What?
I feel like ominous predictions.
Okay.
You know? Like I like sometimes like you know, my roommate will talk about like some weird predictions she had. You know, it's like recently one of my one of my roommate's friends' boyfriend died, right? Like super young, like a fucking accident or something,
Yeah.
right? And what my roommate said was the last time she saw them together, she thought to herself like the guy said something like "see you later" or like see you next time, and in her head she just thought like "no, I don't think I will," you know. But then she didn't know why she thought that, you know. And then later he died, and then obviously she connected the two later, and she's like, "Oh my god," you know. It's like because like in Buddhism there is this like prevalent, like at least in the Buddhism she follows this like idea that like being meditating and like being mindful and stuff like that will give you a closer connection to the spiritual, and that will allow you to extend beyond like what is humanly possible, even in the sense of like maybe I will be able to like sense things about the future, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And recently, like when I left, I was talking to them. I was like, okay, I'll see you later. And the first thought that popped into my head is like, we'll see each other again in heaven. And I told them, and they just freaked the hell out. I was also, even now, I'm like, I don't know why I said that, and it is spooky. And I know it makes me paranoid. So I'm like, I've been like watching out for this kind of stuff almost. I'm like, oh my God, am I like predicting my own death? You know, or like their death or something like that, which would be horrible because, you know, fate is also something you can only escape with difficulty, you know. If it really is something like that, I don't know. I was just wondering if you have some similar experiences or some idea like that, you know.
I guess so. Because even without spirituality, there's some, things like the brain notices a ton of stuff that we don't notice consciously.
Yeah.
Or things like thoughts being one of the few things that can actually travel through time. So what if weird things could be like attributed to things like that? There's a lot of basis for feelings or sort of premonitions or just like stuff that kind of makes sense.
Right.
So yeah, no, I think I have a few. Like, I don't know. It's one of those balancing things where you do and don't want to pay attention to them because living your life like that sounds like a fucking drag. But
Yeah, it does.
But it's also fun. Like, add a little sprinkle of fun into your your magicless
I feel
life.
traumatized. I feel like there's enemies behind me at all time. Well, I mean, I did what I could, right? Which is I just what I did was I looked at the Buddha statue that my roommate has. And I was like, please, how about you don't murder one of us? You know, I said it more seriously, you know, because I'm saying it as a joke now to kind of take the tension away. But it is spooky, this kind of stuff, you know, because it is that like feeling of like a loss of control almost, you know. It's like because you can. I guess it just reminded me like if the world so chose, you know, it's like I could be dead right now. You know, it's like something could just happen. A car could crash into this wall, you know, or like fucking hell, even a meteorite could hit, you know, or I could just step out the door and trip and break my neck. You know, that's probably a more plausible one. It's just funny how fickle everything is, and I guess I was just reminded of that when I said that, and also, you know, that's bad mojo, at least in my opinion. I don't want to see nobody in heaven. I would like to see them right now, please. Thank you. But yeah, who knows, you know.
Yeah.
Fate is malleable, so there even if it is my fate to like have something like that occur soon, then I still have the chance to change it, you know.
Yeah.
Also,
I
you
don't
know,
think
if I
I
don't want
think
this,
of things that way. I tend to go more for like there's danger around every corner, and then just kind of like have the sensation of if this was my last how many, if this was the last thing, how would I react? How an action I would regret, and then to don't do that. And that kind of like helps me live better, I think, because there's some times where I'm
right?
upset, but then I'm like, if this is the last conversation I ever have, I'm gonna regret it, and so I tone back. I
Yeah,
realize that kind of thing, and so I don't know if that is even a good way to live. Like you're constantly thinking of death. I don't think it hinders me. Like BB thinks a ton about death, and it's very unpleasant to her, but I think about death, and it's comforting reminder of how to live better. But one could
it's
say it's
funny.
not a good way to live either. Who knows?
Yeah, it's funny because I talked to BB about this as well, and I would err more on her side, where I would it inhibits my life more than it gives me the benefit, you know.
Mhm.
Because what it does is it gives me insomnia, and that's just an actual like annoyance, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just can't sleep, right?
Yeah. No.
Which is like you can't really explain that away as like something that benefits you. Um, so, but what it could be is, you know, like a fear of death can come from a lot of things. It can come from a fear of loss. It can come from a fear of being alone. It can come from a fear of like what's it? It can come from a fear of what was it? What was the last one? Like, oh, if you had a childhood experience where you came close to death, you know, and if you have that trauma within you, you know, it's like there's a lot of things that can trigger it. Or I guess, you know, maybe you're just scared of death because you are. Who knows, you know? But I mean, logically, there's nothing to be afraid of, you know, because it's like we won't know, you know, if we die. Like, unless we're like sick in the hospital or something, we won't know. It's like we won't be the ones who are mourning because we'll be hit by a car or like broken our neck or whatever the truck, you know. It's like we can feel panic like right before we die or something, but then, you know, it's like it's nothing, you know. Which is like I don't know if it's comforting, but it's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the people most affected won't be ourselves. It'll be people who have to live with that for like the next few years or longer, you know. And so the fear of death is something like death is something you almost won't even experience because you know you won't know you're experiencing it, you know.
Yeah.
So the fear of it, you know, I think it definitely comes from like a different thing that people associate with it. And for me, I think it's definitely like I don't know, it can be a combination of all kinds of things, you know. But I think it's just a sense of loss that I would feel. Like I won't know if I die, but I will know. And now, while I'm alive, I know what I would lose if I were dead, you know. And that's the that's the annoying thing about having a more happy life than I did before, is that it feels like I have more to lose, you know, which is a fun like thing in all day to day. It's like, yeah, I have more to lose, which means I have more to enjoy, but it feeds into that fear of like death and such, because it's like I you know, it's like if I die now, I won't experience more of like the things that I really care about now, you know.
Yeah.
Is this depressing enough for you yet?
Oh no, I was just letting you go. Because
But yeah,
you know, I don't
who
think
knows?
I fixate on death. It's hard for me to say I do, even though, you know, it's something that I consider part of my decision making process. But I guess it
Yeah.
doesn't weigh on me, and I'm trying to find the scenarios when it does weigh on me to, you know, add to the conversation. It's
That's
really
fine. I
funny
mean, I
climbing on
can,
trees.
yeah.
Uh, um, hmm.
I can talk about the other thing you talked about, which is that it gives you comfort. Because I used to experience that more back in the day.
Back in the
Um,
day.
yeah, when I was a wee boy.
Mm.
You know, it is true. It does give you like, because it kind of snaps you back into reality when you think in terms like that. It's like, if I died now, is this really how I want things to like end, you know? I don't think it's an unhealthy way to live. Well, it is if you do it for every situation, you know.
Mhm.
Like sometimes you just wanna it just reminds you that, hey, you know, maybe it's important to apologize or to reflect on yourself. You know, maybe this argument isn't so important that, you know, we should both be pissed for so long. And, you know, because at the end of the day, in a healthy relationship, you all just you manage to balance these things out. You know.
Bone. Whenever I think of relationship advice, I think of the first time you ever sent me the Brooklyn 99 meme. Bone. Because in the end, it always goes back to
uh-huh. our exciting sex lives are something we can talk about next time. Because I heard people yelling in the background as pizza was here, so I'm gonna go eat pizza.
Yeah, eat it while it's hot. And we have been
Yeah.
going for almost 3 hours. It's 2:44, so you know. It's not
Yeah,
bad.
our regular time.
You can stare at Mr. Honk while while we compose it.
All right, sure, and
Thanks.
you can watch me still be doing stuff while I close it.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, see you guys. You
Yeah.
guys can. All right, actually, fine. I'll pan out. Oh, look, this is what I did,
Yep. Good
and then
job.
this is the other thing I did. Whoa,
This
good
is good
job. Whoa,
work.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Pause it. Take a
Woo.
screenshot. Whatever the hell you want. See
Uh-huh.
ya, bitches.
Yep. Bye.